Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dropped Frames. Another Sunday, another show. Ko and Zeke are both on vacation. Not with each other, but they're both on vacation this weekend. I think Ko's at like an aquarium. And
Are you sure they're not somewhere together and they just didn't invite you?
They might actually. Ooh, you should really look into that.
Guys, I gotta go.
Not telling you.
The show's
A little
canceled.
mysterious. Both at the same time,
I gotta get out of here. The show's
Yeah.
canceled.
Oh no, it's not how you want to find out, dude.
Well, you two would never go on vacation without me, right? That would
No.
Okay, great, fantastic. Fantastic.
Talk about that later, Dan.
If you don't recognize the voices, we got Dan Esquire Gaming and King Gothalion here joining us for a very special episode, because here in the first hour, let's just go ahead and bring her on. We've got Carrie Patel from the Avowed, well, I guess from Obsidian Entertainment, the game director over there for Avowed. Welcome back to the show. This is now your second time on Drop Frames. We appreciate you coming back.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
You have been making the rounds. I don't like to, I said this maybe last week or maybe the week before, but the Min-Max interview you did, that was good stuff. I very much like the the 175 rapid fire questions. I will promote it again. Go check that
Ben's
stuff
excellent
out.
at interviewing. I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Oh, Ko's in the chat and says, I'm at a gas station on the way home. Okay, Ko, drive safe.
Convenient.
Glad you could catch the show.
But is Zeke there?
Yeah, if Zeke's there, tell him hi, Ko. And also, I hate you both. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. Your plan's been spoiled.
Way it goes.
Yeah. Let's jump into Avowed. You guys are in early access launch, but not full launch, right? Is this like a limbo period right now? What is that like for you guys?
It's, you get to see people start to play the game. Obviously, the review embargo lifted on Thursday, and we've got, kind of a subset of people who will be playing. So we get to start stress testing our systems quite a bit more than we have with all our internal testing. But yeah, we got people starting to play on Thursday. We've been watching the streams, following the feedback, just seeing how everyone's engaging with the game. And we know that's only going to get bigger on Tuesday when the game is in full release for everybody.
Yeah. It's Game Pass on Tuesday also launches. I'm sure is that a new equation for you guys, or a new thing to throw into the equation for you guys? Or is that just, more people than usual? How's that factor in?
So we were day one on Game Pass with Pentiment as well.
Okay.
Obviously, we've got Grounded on Game Pass as well. So it's familiar for us at this point, but it's just another way to get people who might be interested in checking out the game, a little easier of a point of entry into it, which is fantastic.
Sure. That makes sense. Dan, Goth, you guys can feel free to jump in. I will shut up with that, but shut up with my questions. Just feel free. I guess you mentioned a bunch of different game launches there. Is every game launch different for you? Is there similarities between them? Is there differences? Like how is that process?
It's always a mix of excitement because you're working on this thing for years and you're finally going to get to see people start to play it, which is both very exciting, also very nerve-wracking because for all the time you've spent, play testing, stress testing, catching and fixing bugs, people are going to find things you didn't expect. And some of those are going to be delightful surprises, and some of those are things that you're going to say, "Ooh, we need to fix that real fast." But yeah, so it's been great. I think we've got a wonderful community here at Obsidian and a wonderful, community management and comms team, that just really helps us engage with our fans, get people excited for the game and help people who want to play our games find them.
Sure. Yeah. I've seen a handful of the community team, as well as just, I think, I want to say he's your senior level designer. He was on Twitter giving a bunch of tips for the game and actually helped me with a bunch of different stuff.
Nice.
So
excellent.
Yeah, we'll dive into some of those I guess concerns I was having with my own gameplay a little bit later. But I want to talk a little bit about the review process, because one of my favorite things that have come out of dev stories a while back was watching Corey Balrog react to the reviews when God of War first launched in the 2018. every dev has a different story. Do you pay attention to those reviews? Do you like what is your process, if there is even a process for it all?
I definitely read those reviews when they, when they come out, especially the first day. I think it's kind of a common thing on the team. Like everybody's just kind of going through feedback, watching streams, reading reviews, just seeing what people are finally saying and how they're interacting with the game. Um, so I like to, read through what folks are saying, kind of try to understand both the high points and also the low points people are having. One thing you always want to do with the feedback that you get in reviews from users is kind of understand, is this point of feedback responding to something that we were trying to do and we didn't do as successfully as we wanted? Is it calling out something that we didn't intend to do, or is it calling out something that we were actually never intending to do? And how effective were we at communicating what we were and were not trying to do with this game? So obviously you get feedback from a range of sources and kind of a range of perspectives on those things. But I think it's important to kind of be able to kind of both zoom out and take a very high level view and kind of assess and assimilate everything as it comes in, but also kind of understand, okay, once we're ready to kind of look more thoroughly at this, what about this speaks to what we're trying to do that we could do better?
Sure. I
Is
guess
there any feedback you guys have gotten that is like most surprising from like a dev standpoint, like something that somebody has said that didn't happen or they were expecting, and maybe you didn't see that coming?
I don't think there's anything I would call out as incredibly surprising. I think I've certainly seen a little bit of feedback, kind of responding to the fact that this is, either not an open world game or not a fully simulationist experience, in a way that we
Mhm.
didn't quite set out to do with Avowed specifically. I've also seen some feedback on the gear tier system and how
mm,
players, kind of feel about kind of hitting difficulty and progression walls with that. So that's definitely been something that, as a dev and as a project leadership team, we've been looking at very seriously to address.
sure. Um, Dan, I could see you priming. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah. So the first two games were Kickstarter backed, I believe.
Mhm.
I remember I backed that game 20 years ago, the first one of Pillars of Eternity. Like
Why
I
did you have
remember,
to say 20 years, Dan?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
chat told me that yesterday. It was 20 years ago. So
That
this is
hurts.
the first one I believe that is entirely under Microsoft. That give you like more freedom to like build the game, like focus on more of the game versus the Kickstarter. Like, how was the process different with that?
Yeah, it's definitely been a really great relationship, and that it ensures that we have kind of the resources and the backing to make the kinds of games we know how to make, that we love making, without with but just kind of focus on the experience. So yeah, we've gotten some really wonderful support from Microsoft and Microsoft associated groups, like their advanced technology group, like the Coalition. We've gotten some great help from those groups with performance and optimization. We've also gotten some really wonderful support from Microsoft's user research group, in terms of really play testing and focus testing the first few hours of the game to ensure that the flow of the experience is clear, that tutorialization is clear but not overwhelming, that we're giving players a good entry point and understanding as to who their character is in this world, and what they're setting out to do. And all of that has really just helped us, focus on the game experience, and it's given us a lot of. They've really been great at giving us a lot of, freedom to really take some risks and try things that we're excited about.
Is, with this game, because obviously for people that have not jumped in yet to Avowed or waiting until Tuesday or first time hearing about the game, Pillars of Eternity kind of, you guys have 2 games worth of CRPG lore, which is very dense.
Mhm.
Is it harder or easier to make a game with that amount of lore behind all of it?
I think it's actually easier to make a game the more existing lore you have. It Having that lore answers a lot of the questions that you will find yourself asking over the course of development about, how the world works, kind of how different factions and groups of people interact. Dan, I see you're about to hit that trap. I'm very excited. Um, we were actually watching this in the main lounge on Friday, I think, when you were playing through, and we're like, "Is he gonna hit it? Is he gonna hit it?" And we it was very fun. But anyway, yeah. So having that basis really gives us a lot that we can work with. There's so many questions that you find yourself asking over the course of development, even when you do have very thoroughly developed lore about, how the world works, how certain factions would interact with each other, kind of how to fill in all the edges so that the world really feels believable. And so the more lore that you already have established to really answer those questions, I think the better position you're in.
Sure, sure. The first time I saw something similar to kind of the in-game lore feature that you guys have here, so when something's bolded, you can bring up more information about it, was in Final Fantasy 16. Was that where did you guys pull the inspiration from? Or was it just like, hey, maybe we do have all this extra lore from our two previous games. Maybe we should pipe this stuff in because we're just going to casually drop it in the conversation. From the dialogue point of view, when did that feature come into play? Because I think it's fantastic for the what it's doing for the game.
Yeah, thank you. So we first developed a very similar feature for Tyranny, which came out, I believe, in 2016.
Okay.
So for all the reasons you just said, we found that to be a really great way to kind of give some context on the world, the lore, especially since Tyranny was a unique IP. So, that setting was going to be new to everybody. So we liked it a lot for Tyranny. We carried it forward into Deadfire. And so we didn't have it. We had to, kind of bring the tool into Avowed, but it was always planned to be there. But it was definitely interesting, even internally, to kind of see the moment when we went from having that tool to not having that tool to having it.
Sure.
As you go through development, you're always getting feedback, and I don't understand what these terms are, but wait, there's too much lore. We need to give the player more context, but now we're overwhelming them, and it's like, hold on. We're gonna have this solved. Like, let's wait for the tool to come online. And so, sure enough, once we got it implemented, it just lets people opt into exactly what they need, and you don't have to bloat or slow down dialogues to treat them as wiki entries.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's got to be a challenging dance, considering like the kind of game that Avowed is, and the kind of audience it's going to appeal to. Like, I'm not a CRPG guy. Like, that's never been my thing. So I never got into Pillars of Eternity. So I've come into this not knowing anything about the world or lore. There's a lot of dialogue. There is, and I usually try to pick whatever option lets me fight the person I'm talking to. So I've approached Avowed completely from I want to pick up loot and then kill guys and then take their stuff and then use that to kill other people. So it's been good for me. Like, I didn't feel like you guys did a bad job at all with like too much of a lore dump. I haven't felt overwhelmed like at all, really. Like, but it's nice that it's there for people who are trying to learn the background of what's going on in this IP.
Yeah, it's interesting because, with RPGs in particular, you have such a buffet of features and content, and some players are there for all of it and some players are there for specific sections of it. And so I think the more you can build in ways for players to get into the parts of the game that they enjoy the most and kind of, have a lighter experience with the parts that maybe aren't really for them, that something like those tooltips, it means that we can write the dialogues fully for the players who really want to enjoy that stuff. We can include all that lore for players who are really going to get into the world building, without thinking, well, they're going to be players who aren't interested in it, so but we don't have to leave it out. We just make that stuff opt in for people who like it.
Sure.
That's smart.
One of the things that I noticed, about the dialogue choices themselves is there's kind of like I would describe it as a yes and type approach with a couple of the dialogue options that really, for me, having played so much D&D back in the day, it was like a DM was allowing you to kind of insert yourself into the story. Is that like, where did that come from? I guess because that I was like, oh, this is like a DM allowing me to insert myself. Was that always the plan?
Yeah, I mean, so tabletop is like, it very much influences the way we design our games, like especially the Infinity Engine style games, the actual Infinity Engine games, and then the Pillars games were very heavily influenced by tabletop design. And obviously, when you're, making a CRPG like this, you cannot account for every single possibility, kind of in real time in the way that a DM can, but our goal is certainly to create room for as many possibilities as we possibly can, and to give the player a really, to let the player feel as interesting as any character in the world. We never want the player to feel like they are just reacting to the world around them, saying yes, go on, continue, with NPCs talking to them. And yeah, actually improv is one of the I guess the comparisons that we've used in thinking about how we develop not only dialogue trees, but also role playing scenarios in general. Like, what's an interesting situation that you can walk into as a player, and how can your choices in how you navigate that let you continue to define your character? One of my favorite examples of this in the game is actually in Dawnshore. It's the grenade cart interaction in Paradise, where one of the soldiers is like, hey, I've got a lot of people to go through this. I think this lady's suspicious. Can you search your cart and tell me if you find anything? I think it's a really fun organic moment of role play for the player that just kind of puts them in an interesting scenario and gives them a decent bit of freedom, even with something fairly straightforward with how they want to respond to it.
Sure. Yeah. I guess the question I have is, I have to talk around it in spoilers, but I have to say enough so you understand what I'm referencing. The potential backstory of a bad person and your relationship with them. How like, is that like an entire scene change depending on your choice there, or like how impactful is that decision?
It's something that you will see come up throughout the game in dialogue, that I think adds a really interesting texture to your relationship with that character.
Sure.
And also to the way other characters, especially your companions, talk about that character and your history with them. One of the things that I think we do very well as a studio, and I want to give special kudos here to Paul Kirsch and Kate Dollarhide, who did a lot of the writing around that, is that it's there are ways of kind of adding in all these different variables that account for the outlook that certain characters have towards you, the way they may feel about you, the history or the backstory you've unearthed together. Even the companions, kind of as you get to know them, some of them will have kind of moments where they might kind of comment on how they're either they feel like they're really coming to understand you, or they don't always agree with you, but they respect kind of the position you're in. And so I think there's a real art to layering those things in, such that you're not actually creating an entirely distinct dialogue tree for every possible iteration of your relationship with these characters, but the way they're framed, the way those become entry points into conversations, the way these characters kind of talk to you around bigger moments and bigger decisions, either as someone they might have history with, someone they have animosity towards. I think it adds a very different feel to those conversations, even when they're still moving in the same overall direction.
Cool. Yeah. I've seen some effects of my decision thus far, so I'm eager to see going into Act 2. I'm kind of at the beginning of that, going into Act 2, see what happens, because I think we're going to start to see more of the big bad at that point. So,
is Act 2 like when you zone into the second area? I don't want to like spoil. Like,
I think so.
Names of
I guess I would call that Act 2. Carrie, do you guys call that Act 2? How would I guess the first big zone?
Yeah.
I
think we haven't really talked about it so much in Acts, but I know the area you're talking about.
The drawbridge, let's say.
Yes.
Yeah. I just got to that at the end of my stream today. I do like, we were talking about like how different dialogue options will affect like what's going on with the story, or possibly choices with those NPCs later on. And I definitely saw that yesterday. I don't know how core the character was, but it was somebody who I had quested with previously, and they're unalived now. Just because that's the route I take when I can. It's fun. And yeah, so I did like that. It reminds me of back when I played Morrowind, you could kill Vivek, and like obviously that's more simmy than this, but that was cool. They let you kill God, and then it was like, you sure you want to do this? Game over, champ. And I was like, yeah, I do. I want to hang his head on my wall.
For you.
I'm trying to think who you killed, Goth, because I've
don't worry about it. Don't worry. They're not around anymore. I'm not worried about it.
That option.
Do you
Yeah,
guys
I guess
consider
not.
this Pillars of Eternity 3, or is it something that meant to stand on its own but just draw from the lore of the world of Pillars of Eternity?
I'd call it a standalone in the same universe. Well, I mean, not even like the same world. It takes place on the same timeline. It's just a different region, and it takes place a few years after Deadfire. We very specifically wanted to make sure that it felt, part of the same world. There are obviously a few returning characters. You will find references to events that occur or that are key to those earlier games. But we didn't want it to feel like a sequel in the sense that, well, if you haven't played them, you're not going to understand what's going on. The player character is an entirely different character. You're the Watcher in Pillars and Deadfire. You're the Envoy and a Godlike in Avowed.
For Kai, did you guys know ahead of time that Brandon Keener was going to voice him and wrote that for him, or did you guys get lucky? Like, it seems like that role was made for him. Like, he does it so well.
We got very lucky, and he is excellent. I don't think we wrote any of our characters with a specific performer in mind, except possibly I think Paul wrote Giotto with Mara Juno in mind. We've worked with her on several games in the past, and I think she'd done some VO work for us on a vertical slice, and she's always fantastic. And so I think, she was already cast for him. But yeah, Brandon Keener was a very lucky accident. I remember Garrus was a very like a soft reference point for Kai in the sense of being, a bro, like the one you would have a beer with, very much kind of defined by his sense of camaraderie, kind of this easy sense of humor. So yeah, but we didn't even specifically, I don't think we requested anyone specific when we were doing casting, but I remember, kind of going through the sides, listening to some of the auditions, and Brandon K was one of them. And I was like, oh, he's good. Let's hear from him again. And it just turned out like, oh yeah, same guy. But yeah, he brings a lot to the role. He absolutely nails the humor, nails just kind of that friendly, easygoing sense of camaraderie, and something that I really love that he does, that I think really set him apart when we were listening to his audition is he brings a really wonderful sense of vulnerability to the role that comes up a bit later in Kai's story. So
Okay.
yeah, those were very memorable recording days.
Yeah. I don't know if Dan or Goth you can relate, but when I started streaming the game, the number one thing whenever he pops up on screen, chat goes, "Is that fucking Garrus? What?
Yep. Oh yeah.
What is that Garrus? What's happening right now?" So it seems like it was a great choice to have him in there. And I think in a lot of ways, his responses are kind of like, for me, how I would react to the situation. So it's giving me a little bit of a voice, whereas the character that I'm creating, I can kind of do whatever. So he's been fantastic thus far. And a
Don't
great
try
companion.
anything twice. I know that for sure.
Yeah,
told me.
exactly.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the I guess gameplay elements, because I'm very curious with one, and maybe a little bit upset, Carrie. Are you telling me that I have to break down unique items to get more ADRA? Because I can buy them from vendors, but I want to hoard items, Carrie. Is that the best way to do this? Should I be breaking down these unique items to get more ADRA?
JP, we're a game about choices and consequences,
Oh
and
my
sometimes you have to make a
God.
choice about which gear pieces you really want. But yes, so breaking down anything you're not going to use is a great way to get more ADRA. As you noted, you can buy it from vendors, and you can also find some of it in the world, either exploring, kind of, as quest rewards. So there are a number of ways to get it. The most reliable, though, is going to be breaking down uniques that you're not going to use.
Okay. I did see. Let me ask this then as a follow-up. Are some of the early game items, when it comes to the unique traits on those, not necessarily reused, but similarities on higher rank unique items? Because I've noticed that, at least in Act 2, whatever you want to call that, I found some items that have similar enhancements, but they're not exactly a one-to-one copy. Is that kind of a progression through the game where the items just get more and more, I guess, better enhancements on them?
So when it comes to the uniques, I think that they're fairly distinct. So
Okay.
I'd say if you find one that you like, definitely keep it and upgrade it. Don't count on finding something that's going to do the same thing the way you like.
Got it.
But yeah, we've had people, just based on the range of play styles, there are definitely some people who will take, in particular, Karok's Pride and Drawn in Winter from Dawnshore, upgrade those and carry them all the way through the game. So I'd say definitely if you find one you like, hang on to it, upgrade it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because that happened with, and maybe this is the start of another question, but the green axe you can find in Act 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
With that one, does that always drop epic?
Uh, hmm. So there is a formula that determines what level uniques will drop at. Basically, a unique will
Interesting.
never be worse than what you have.
So, okay. So,
Always an upgrade.
yeah, in essence, because I had just upgraded another weapon to an epic. So that changed kind of the level state of the potentiality for unique drops, to reword what you just said.
Yeah, I think I'm telling you a bit of a secret, but yes.
Okay.
You
All
got
right.
us. You discovered it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm playing on Path of the Damned, so every upgrade for
Ooh,
me
nice.
is like I
They're
need
meaningful.
it. Yeah, they're meaningful.
Yes.
If I walk into a fight and I'm fighting someone that's one rank above, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case on the lower difficulties, but I need everything I can get. So the fact that I guess now I can continue to push items definitely makes me more interested in doing that, as well as disenchanting stuff. Because I haven't disenchanted a single thing. I'm hoarding everything. It's hard. It's hard, Carrie, to delete those items.
I feel it.
I don't like it.
Got to do it, man. I'm not a bow guy, so I'm gonna get rid of all the bows. I want to use
There you
guns
go.
and stab stuff. So
Yeah.
I guess I could commit to those for Adra.
I'm curious, what are you guys, Dan and Gothalion, what are you guys currently using, like build-wise?
I've been all magic because the spells in the game and the wands and the books are just so much fun to use, and I've never played a game that quite has that system, and it just feels so good. And I'm in love with the spell casting.
Got it. So are you wand grimoire or are you pistol grimoire?
Wand grimoire, and then like a second wand and grimoire with different spells on it.
Okay.
Nice.
Goth, what are you double? Is this double dagger? Is that what you're using here?
I'm double gun, and now I'm sword and a dagger because I
Okay.
like to use the stealth and then shank someone and then pull out the gun and put them down execution style.
Yeah. Okay.
And also Kai's got some fun stun abilities, and that's really classy. He does like this like nothing personal kid thing and shoots him from the side. It's great.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try out quad guns though. I want to go like quad gun and then get the perk that reloads things when it's not
stored,
when it's been holstered for 3 seconds, and then just like quad gun it up because why not?
Yeah. I didn't know that was a perk. That's great. Actually.
Apparently that's quad guns. One gun in each hand for both loadouts. So gun, quad gun.
New strats
for kids.
New strats.
Nice.
I started out as mage. It's fantastic. Blizzard is a fantastic spell, especially if you can up the rank with the grimoire. And then last night I respect, because of my hoarding tendencies, to just pure melee. I only have bull rush. I don't have any other abilities at level 11. It's pretty good though. It's pretty fun. Just running into a fight. The fights go a lot faster. I'm either dying immediately or getting through the fight within like 30 seconds. I would say
Something's happening.
Something's happening. Yeah.
As a mage, I've been struggling with archers, but then I realized that this spell on the second level lets you reflect arrows back.
Yes.
And it's a whole new game now. Like it's different. That the shield reflecting arrows back just changes and fixes everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, is that Arcane Veil? I think is what that spell is. That's an incredible lifesaver.
It's like right on the top of the first wizard tree.
Yeah.
Shield.
Carrie, do you guys have stats on like? Are you able to see what most people are playing just from the back end side of things, or is it all just referential at that point?
I don't have information about what people are playing just yet. Mostly we've just been kind of watching streams and comments and seeing what people are playing.
Got it. Are you seeing? I feel like everyone's playing mage. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
I mean, and I'm actually really happy. So it's the combat team did a lot of work to tune wizards and casting. Particularly in the last few months. We made some adjustments to because there was a time when your casts, especially the longer ones, were very interruptible. Like you could get interrupted pretty early. The casting times were pretty long, which made it hard for those builds to feel viable, especially early. We definitely noticed that in the previews that we did around Gamescom. Fighter, like a traditional fighter warrior build seemed to be about the easiest, and a mage seemed to be the hardest to play. So the team did some really nice adjustments to the speed of casts, to their interruptibility, even adjusted the icon for Arcane Veil so that it stood out more as a barrier spell. I think it looked a little bit more like an attack previously, but I think all that has made casting a lot more viable and a lot more fun, especially in the early game, and especially as you get later and get more and more of those powers. It becomes really strong.
Yeah.
It felt super strong early. Like the little flamethrower you have with like the first Grimoire felt like borderline OP early on, because I was taking on those 3-star guys. I took a bounty because chat told me to, and I listened. And
Yeah, why not?
I went on the bounty, and everybody's like, I guess, tier 3 blue, and I had just started. So I had an hour fight with a bear and 2 guys, or like 3 bears and 2 guys, whatever. Chat was watching it. But I really leaned on magic because it was just like it really shredded them early game. So that was cool.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see how it scales later on, but I'm probably going to stick with guns and stabbing people.
I just want to see what the like meteor shower spell looks like. Those are very the tooltips are great, but I want to see it in action. So might have to respec or something a little bit later. I guess the other thing too, if you're freezing people is very strong in the beginning of the game. It is a very strong ability to be able to do that and just have a little bit of crowd control. So
yes.
Yeah,
you do additional damage when they're frozen, and you can slow or stop them. So yeah, that's really powerful.
Do they always shatter? So if you freeze someone and then bull rush them, do they always shatter, or do they only shatter if they're like low HP?
If they're low HP enough, or you're doing enough damage to end them. Yeah.
Okay.
So if they've got a lot of health left, if you've got a lot to work with, you won't shatter them necessarily.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was just a freeze bull rush type deal, then they just immediately die, or how that was functioning.
I mean, you can shatter them with weapons too. Yeah, if you're doing any kind of damage that takes them out, they'll shatter.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I guess one of my favorite things about it thus far, this speaks to my hoarder tendency, is that you guys really packed so much into this game when it comes to just small little hidden items or little chests that, we'll have a couple upgrade abilities every once in a while. I check every waterfall. Sometimes I've been rewarded with a golden chest. Sometimes there's nothing there. What is that process like, I guess, when it comes to adding all of it? Do you create corridors with the idea that you're always going to put something behind it? Or because I felt like I've always been rewarded, essentially.
Like every nook and cranny has a treat in it.
It's got something in it. Yeah, even if it's just a small little thing to loot. Like, what's that process like? Is that a directive from the top to always reward the player, or?
It's a bit of both. Like there is some upfront planning and iteration, and then there's noticing the opportunities you have and making sure that you're doing something with them. So, building worlds that are explorable, quests that are discoverable, dialogues that have like hidden options that only some players are going to find based on either their build or their previous choices. All those things fit together for us in our studio design philosophy around making sure that there's enough depth to really engage players, and also being willing to say there's great content that we're going to put in here, and not everybody is going to find it, but the players who do find it are going to feel really rewarded. So that does mean that when we're designing levels and dungeons, we are thinking about kind of where the optional side paths, the little exploration nooks that players can find, and kind of what can we put there to make it worth their while. Sometimes that's loot, sometimes it's a quest, sometimes it's found storytelling. I think having some variety there is really meaningful. But it also means that then once we get those areas put together, as we're refining them, as we're play testing them ourselves, we're looking for those moments where as we're players too, and saying, I went over here, it looked like there would be something and there wasn't, or this seems like a great opportunity to give the player a little nugget about this. We had a couple designers, Reseal and Ryan Higgins in particular, who did a lot of really great work, late in the development process. Once we had our levels all put together, we had our quests laid out, and they did some really wonderful stuff, especially in Emerald Stair. I think you see all these wonderful little moments with like one of my favorites is like the sporelings kind of splashing around in the river. There's another where you can see like this conga line of sporelings like following each other through the woods. Just lots of little moments that kind of add to just the sense of life and wonder and discoverability in the world. Again, some of that's loot, some of that's kind of these found storytelling moments, but yeah, we definitely plan for that stuff up front. But as we're iterating, as we're putting the finishing touches on, we also look for those moments where we'd say, if I were a player, I'd really want to find something here, or there's an opportunity to here to add a surprise or something delightful.
Yeah.
Why can't I kill the pigs?
As a teaser to us, are there some things in the game that you're not sure if any player will ever find, and you're just waiting for someone to find it?
There's a lot of Easter eggs I've seen, so I don't know if Dan, I don't know how much you've seen for that stuff, but
I know somebody. Everything will be found by somebody.
okay.
There's one really delightful thing that I know someone put in the game, as a nod to a bug that we used to have where rats open doors. It is very hard to find. It is my favorite little secret in the game. I won't say where it is.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Noted.
Mm.
Noted.
Mm.
Yeah, I stumbled upon. There's so many things that I don't expect the game to have in it, and like I finished a camp fighting a bunch of lizard folk, and I turned around and there's a revenant that's friendly staring at me in the second area, and then I like followed it into a little alcove, little like
What could
small
go wrong?
dungeon. Yeah, and then what happened. That stuff is just fantastic to stumble upon, and it's constantly happening, right? So it's been fantastic just walking around the map and finding kind of every little thing. That kind of leads me, I guess, to the next question. Is there ever going to be like a percentage or a tracker or a way to be like, I've done everything in this map? Is that something that you guys want? Or is it just like, you always want the idea that there might be more?
I mean, I guess the closest thing we have to that is, you've got your fog of war, and so the easiest way to tell when you've kind of maybe seen everything is when that map is all cleared.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that as a player, I understand the draw of having it systematized for me. And I also know that as a player, if it is, I will turn it into a metagame and I will
Right.
enjoy the experience less. So I think there's actually something kind of nice about not having a tracker that's going to tell you, have you opened every chest? I mean, we have our god totems, right? Like you'll know if you've found everything to complete them because you either have the pieces or you don't. But we're not constantly trying to, dangle in front of you on the map like, have you found every memory overlook, like each of these ancient memories, that's what we call them.
Right.
We want you to find those things because you're exploring, not because there's an empty checklist you have to fill out.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah, I respect it. It's the type of thing where I thought I had found everything in, I think, about 16 or 17 hours in the first zone. And then I was looking through footage to pull up this morning of Dan, and he found a random ring that slowly restores HP that I found the counterpart to that slowly restores essence, but I never found
Only
that.
when you're wet, though.
Yeah, only when you're wet. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, that was very...
That's interesting.
Very frustrating to not have found that. So,
But that's my secret, JP.
oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Carrie, you still there?
we
Can
go.
you hear us?
References.
I don't know if Carrie... I think we might have lost Carrie.
We might have.
Yeah. Oh, are you back? Are we good? I don't think she could hear us.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the headset might have died or something. Let's see. Try and...
Might be wireless. Maybe it ran out of battery.
Yeah.
Oh man, live tech support.
Live
The
tech
true streamer
support.
experience.
Many times.
Very good.
Yeah, it happens. End of the talk. Good night. Exactly.
I kicked my desk on accident. You guys are close.
Oh God, you're super
Back up a
zoomed
little.
in. Way to go.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm super zoomed in,
You're
dude.
super zoomed in here. Yeah, are we all in the same part of the game, by the way, in Act 2? Act two,
I just got there today.
I'm still in the first zone. I haven't finished it yet.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's respectable, though.
Yeah.
I'm on the
Taking your
right half
time.
of the map doing the bounties for the killing all those named creatures.
That was literally the first thing I did was all of the bounties because the rewards are bonkers.
Yeah, the bounties are very good. Yeah.
I was struggle busting on the hardest difficulty against some of them, so I decided to go on the left side of the map and finish clearing it, and then go back.
Maybe if she reconnected, I don't know.
Yeah, I just told her to F5. Hopefully that fixes things.
Maybe that'll do it.
It looks like the audio component to her died. I don't know if that's on my end or on her end. Oh, I think you're back.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, fantastic.
Yay.
Yeah, we got you back. I'm not sure what that was. Anyways,
You were saying, you stuff that you hadn't found, you thought you'd found everything, and then you were watching someone else's stream, and they found something you hadn't.
yes, it was the HP regen ring, which is yeah, I know exactly where it is, so I'm gonna go find it when I get back in and make sure I have all the loot. Because I guess now I have to disenchant it. Or wait, you can't disenchant rings, or you can't break down rings. So maybe not.
It has to be in inventory.
Sell it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could sell it. My favorite item that I found is the necklace that gives you more gold when you find gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super nice.
Yeah, very valuable to have when it comes to just looting everything, as I have done. I want to talk a little bit about the lockpick system, as Goth just pulled that up here.
Mm-hmm.
An interesting way. I'm sure you anticipated that it's going to be frustrating when you come up on a chest and you don't have enough lockpicks to open it.
Yes.
There's no way to mark that you missed the chest either. So I'm using Steam Notes. What did you? How do you feel about that system now that it's launched? Do you guys still stand by it? Is it a little bit of a point of contention? Where's that at?
I think there's definitely a scarcity of lockpicks, especially later in the game.
Okay.
I think the goal of having at least a degree of scarcity is always that the economy feels meaningful. I think one thing that happens very easily in RPGs is, you spend maybe your first third or quarter of the game very low on resources, and every gain feels meaningful. Every piece of loot is a win, and then at a certain point you amass so much money by what you find, by all the stuff you sell, that nothing really matters anymore. And you're finding gold, but it's it's just going to go into my pouch. What am I going to do with it? I have everything I need.
Sure.
And so I think there's a sweet spot there with the lockpick scarcity, where if they feel just scarce enough, you're ideally making some decisions about, this is going to take 5 lockpicks to open this chest. Do I want to open this blue one, or maybe wait for a purple one and see if I can get something better? It's incentivizing the player to, really think about where they want to spend those resources, and also encouraging players to go to merchants where you can get more lockpicks, and maybe find some other gear and goodies that you want.
Sure.
So yeah, I think we might be a little too stingy in the later regions, but overall, I think some degree of scarcity in the economy, whether we're talking about lockpicks, money, resources, all of this stuff, even though it feels limiting in the moment, I think it drives players to make more interesting and meaningful decisions about their build.
Are there enough lockpicks?
Is that what
Go ahead, Goth.
decision for enemies to not really respawn came into play? Because unless there's a mechanic I've missed, I don't think the world respawns at all, does it?
It doesn't. I mean, there are a couple of specific sequences where there may be areas you've cleared that are now going to have new enemies based on something that's happened. But yeah, this isn't a work we're not trying to encourage players to grind, to repeat combat just to get more levels or more gear drops.
Sure. Yeah.
Dan, were you gonna add in or add something there?
No, but one thing I wanted to ask was, what inspired like this drastic change for this game versus the others? Instead of just making Pillars of Eternity 3, did the team just want to try something new, or how did that come about?
It was a little bit of everything. You know, the team we'd gone straight from Pillars 1, which was my first game at Obsidian, to 2 DLCs, to Deadfire, to 3 DLCs. And so there was definitely an interest in kind of changing gears a bit, doing something a little bit different. Which this allowed us to do, and after making the Outer Worlds in Unreal, we had a bit more experience obviously with the engine as a studio. And I think the format of kind of a first person action RPG. I think there's a lot to love there, where you can take kind of the best of the RPG building blocks around, character progression, depth of your world, kind of giving player meaningful, choices around both how they build their character, how they complete quests, and kind of how they move through the game. You can balance that with just kind of this moment to moment fun of an action game where the combat feels very fluid. You're making choices about your build, but I think no matter what you choose to do, you can have fun with it. Like, you don't have to come from a deep tabletop background and a deep knowledge of tabletop RPG mechanics to build an effective character in a game like this. You can try things, see what's fun. Like, even like you guys have been doing, try some weapons, say, I like this, but now I want to go to quad pistols and see how that works, and just very fluidly build a play style that suits you.
I do love how easily you made it to respec in the game, just like a little bit of gold, and you can try a whole new build out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
that's
want
been
players to
awesome.
experiment.
It's been great too, because you separated the stat respec from the skill respec, which I'm also a big fan of. So it's been really cool to see that. I'm gonna piggyback off of Dan's question here. Ko had a single question that he wanted me to ask, and we're gonna use him for the scapegoat here because he's not here, so we can paint him to look bad. He wanted to know if there's any chance that this could lead to Pillars of Eternity 3, and if so, like, who do we need to promote / kill to make that happen?
Uh-huh. Well, I will say, one of the great things about this being Pillars being our IP is we have, freedom to make however many and whichever games in this world that we want. I know there's still a lot of us, myself included, who worked on Pillars 1 and Deadfire, who, have a lot of love for that format and would love to make another game in that style one day. So never say never.
Got it. Okay. All right. I guess since I'm throwing in guest questions here, Dex Bonus, friend of the show, had 2 questions. They have nothing to do with the game though. The
right.
first one: you're at a diner. It's 3 a.m. What do you order?
Ooh, probably pie. I've had dinner. If I'm up that late, I am not a night owl, so I'm probably ready to go to sleep soon.
Okay.
So no coffee. Don't want to mess with that. Yeah, just I don't know, a nice slice of maybe blueberry pie,
Okay.
something to kind of put me to sleep when I get home.
Fantastic. And then her second question, and you might have heard my dog in the background. What's your favorite breed of dog?
Ooh, we have 2 German Shepherd mixes at home that we absolutely adore. They are such, beautiful, loyal, sweet, intelligent dogs. Our second dog is a Shepherd Mal mix. So
Ah.
I'm her favorite. So I've got some of the scratches on my arm. We're
Oh,
working
no.
on training right now, but she's incredibly affectionate. But yeah, we love those dogs.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Getting back to Avowed, what's I guess game launch is Tuesday. Are you already thinking about what's next? What's that process?
I mean, being a multi-project studio, we're always to a degree thinking about what's next.
Yeah.
Right now our focus is definitely on supporting Avowed, continuing to make sure that we are, fixing bugs as they come up, refining, a few of our mechanics like that tiering system just to make sure that they're creating the right incentives for players, but not getting in the way of fun. So that's our focus for the near term. But I know one of the great things about Aora is, at this point we have shown 3 different settings in this world, and there are plenty more to explore, plenty more stories to tell. And we've got a very enthusiastic team that's built something really wonderful with Avowed, and be ready to make some more new stuff pretty soon.
Cool. Fantastic. Cool. Man, my dog is very loud this morning. I apologize. Dan,
is mod support something that's that could be on the horizon from like an official level, or is that going to take smart folks to do?
It's hard to say. It's not something we're looking at for Avowed right now. I know it's one of those features that I know a lot of players really love, but it is a lot of work to support to make sure that you can actually do something with it. So that's just to say it's certainly something people talk about. I don't know if there's anything specific to discuss there right now, though.
Okay. What about photo mode?
Yeah, photo mode. I saw a ton of requests for photo mode, and I can screenshot, but I can't photo mode yet. Carrie, is that coming?
Yeah. We haven't been talking about that yet. I know, but that's definitely something with these environments that would certainly be nice to have.
Got it. Okay.
There's been several times I like turn around a corner, I'm like, wow, that is gorgeous, like screenshot right there. That cave or that city. Like there's so many moments you just like stop and go, wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah. I think the game really shines at nighttime. Because like all the flora
it's dark
kind
at
of glows.
nighttime.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. I see what you did there, Goth. Very well done. I'm happy.
Thank you.
Why are you trying to kill Kai down there? Watching Goth.
Goth tries to kill everyone.
I don't know. I just want to see if I can.
What happens?
Look, that story you said about the things prancing through the mushrooms, as it were, prancing through.
Yeah.
Goth is never going to see that because he sees a mushroom, he's shooting. All right,
they're gone. If I can, I'm gonna shoot it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you or them when it comes to the mushrooms.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those mushrooms just blow up on you. You don't even.
It's like real life.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary for sure.
What mushrooms are you experiencing in real life?
Yeah, he's in Florida. Who knows?
You know?
It's
that
wild.
makes sense.
It's nuts here.
Yeah. Crazy stuff in Florida. I know. I think it was either. It might have been the Min-Max interview. You said I think you've completed the game 4 times, or at time of that recording, you completed it around 4 times.
Something like that.
What was like your favorite build?
Ooh, I think what I really liked was playing a two-handed melee focused character. I end up really liking the builds where I play against what I feel is my normal type, just because I don't know, there's always something fun and surprising about it. I tend to like to play either kind of more rogue ranger adjacent or like wizard adjacent characters. So, playing kind of more of a straight up warrior, focusing on that ability tree, focusing on those weapons, and also just kind of role playing that outlook in more dialogues and role playing someone who is a bit more of an Adiran loyalist. That was actually pretty fun. I liked that.
Do you have a favorite ability in the game?
Ooh.
One that you think they just nailed? Maybe not that you utilize, but one that you're just like, oh man, when players get their hands on this, they're gonna have so much fun.
Personally, I absolutely love Charge. I almost hate to say it because it is one of the first abilities you can get, but it is so fun just to kind of blast into enemies one after the other. It always feels great. That little bit of stun and knockback is really useful. I also love using that to like Kool-Aid Man through weak walls. That's pretty fun. Unless there's an explosive barrel on the other side, then it's a little less fun.
Okay. Don't
so I'd
charge
say
through walls. Noted.
Yeah, Charge, and then Flurry of Blows. Actually, that's one of the later. One of the abilities later in that, and I think that might be the ranger tree, but that just lets you go really, really fast. So especially if you pair something like that with either like Giada's accelerate ability, or Yatsli has one where she will slow enemies down, you could go wild.
Sure. How good is the spin to win? The cyclone thing at the end of the warrior tree? Is that?
That's good. That's worth it.
All
yeah,
right.
that's a good one.
I was eyeing that. I'm a huge fan of spin to win in all the other games, so maybe we'll do it in this one as well.
There are a few good, like, yeah, there's also the Barbarian Shout, I think, that'll give you a little radius around you. And then Grimoire Snap, if you've got one of those and you're playing a wizard, that'll do something kind of similar. So yeah, all those are great, like, knock down the guys around you abilities.
Sure. Yeah. Dan, Goth, let's do final questions here, so Carrie can go and launch the game on Tuesday, and maybe even enjoy her Sunday as well. I'm sure a break is much wanted at this point. Do you guys have any final questions, Dan and Goth?
My big one was mod support. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was
Do you
that?
play
Dan?
any games yourself? Have you been playing anything recently that you've been enjoying that's either your game or someone else's?
I've actually been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 lately and having a blast with it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a fun one. It really lets
it
me channel my inner me.
Are you just murdering entire towns?
I mean, systematically at night, because like the guards, they take turns sleeping, and I figured that out pretty quick. And
I just imagine you Lancelotting your way through like Monty Python style, just taking everyone out, Goth, running through every castle, just holding down left, just mowing them all down. Cool. Anything else to add here at the end? He is so excited. He wants to ask a question or something. Carrie, anything else to ask? Anything else to say here at the end? Sorry.
No, I'm excited to see what kinds of builds players create on Tuesday when even more folks get into the game. We absolutely love seeing all of the beautiful and bizarre envoys that folks are creating. I was tickled to see John Avowed from somebody already. I think that's been one of my favorites. And a Kilgore Trout. That was amazing.
Okay.
So yeah, we love seeing what players create with these systems. And yeah, I can't wait to see what everyone else does in the game.
Fantastic. Chad had one question. They've been spamming it all the time. It has to do with accessibility setting. When it comes to it's very specific, but making the action bar shake during combat. Is there any way to not make that happen?
We
I guess
do
UI
have,
elements.
Yeah, we do have some settings under accessibility that will either reduce or eliminate like the camera shaking and the various elements shaking in combat. So take a look at those.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. We'll let you get back on with your Sunday here and maybe have a little bit of a chill out time before the big week for launch. Good luck. Congratulations on early access. I'm sure full launch will go smooth. No problems at all. And
we're ready.
You're welcome back on the show anytime. We love having you here. It was an awesome time talking with you once again. Have a great rest of your Sunday.
Thank you so much. Y'all too. Great talking to you.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by.
All right. That intro is going to be prime still. But we're back. We're going to continue the show with the three of us. Dude, I don't know what's going on with the dog. I don't understand. Just barking.
I didn't know whose dog that was. I just heard dog in background.
You thought it was your dog? Yeah.
No, it's not mine. I'm in a garage outside my house. I figured it was yours or hers or... Dan, do you have a dog?
Dan doesn't have
I have a cat.
He's got a cat.
You have a cat?
Yeah.
Anything else you guys wanted to add in now that the big bad game dev is gone about Avowed?
Oh, man.
I'm loving it. I was trying not to gush about the game too much, but I'm almost 30 hours in, combing everything in the game.
And you're only second area now?
Yeah, I just got into the second area. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I took my time. I like exploring. There's, like I said, there's like every nook and cranny has like a treasure in it. And it follows that like that gaming trope of, if there's a waterfall, there better be treasure in it. But if there's a waterfall and there's not treasure, or if there is treasure, it's like a trope. But if there's not, then it's disappointing. So
yes.
I've gotten both sides of that, and that's good. But yeah, finding loot's cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, combat's fun. I think I gotta bump up my difficulty now because my build's getting a little ridiculous on day 2.
You should.
Yeah.
I was watching you earlier though. Do you have purple weapons yet? Have you upgraded your weapons?
No, I'm only on blue.
Yeah, you won't be able to.
I got a bunch of materials.
You're gonna have a hard time fighting like purple enemies without a purple weapon. They take a long.
I figured.
Time.
I mean, I experienced that in the first zone when I was fighting all the blue guys with not blue gear, and that sucked.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of got to whittle them down.
I'll walk into those fights and just get like one tapped. outright.
Path
Yeah.
of the Damned is
Yeah.
really tough, but it does feel pretty fair. Like I
Yes.
know why I died. I missed this dodge, or it just like it feels makes the combat feel really like intense. Every battle is a very intense experience versus, sometimes in RPGs they can get a little like you overpower everything all the time. But even like
Yeah.
when you get really good gear and outpower stuff, they can still 2 or 3 shot you if you're not careful in
Oh
battle.
yeah. And you also start, at least I have in the fights, almost like you're playing Destiny Goth, where it's like, oh, that's a healer. That's a caster over there, and he's got like 6 minions that he just summoned. So we'll take him out first. Then we'll go for that guy. And there's no pausing, so you're doing this all in real time as well.
Yeah.
It really adds to the combat experience.
I find my companions are dying super fast.
Oh yeah.
But part of that might be because I use the electric pistol, the magic gun, and I keep electrifying the ground that they're on because like they're standing in a puddle, I guess. So I end up killing my own guys a lot. Whoops. But yeah. What's the max on companions? Because I think I'm about to get my 3rd.
I think there's 4 in the game.
Okay, 4 total.
I feel bad because Carrie, you could go. Carrie's still adding to the conversation. She's still here. Carrie, you don't have to answer our silliness.
Okay, see ya.
Thank you so much. She was responding to everything we were saying. And I felt so bad because she was muted and no one else could hear it. So I just had to butt in with that. Yeah, I think there's 4 companions total.
Okay, cool.
And I don't know if they all journey with you at the same time.
Right.
I know that 2 of them are right now. I don't know if you could choose like how many or which ones. I've only met 2, so I can't really say how that all functions when you start getting more. But
yeah.
I'm only gonna have
no
one
idea.
free slot because Kai's got to be with me the whole game because he's practically Garrus. Garrus is one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah, he's definitely Garrus. The 3rd character is kind of horny.
Yeah, she suggested that I have a 3-way with my other 2 companions.
Yeah.
And that's and I was like, no, I'm not into that, but I don't know, she had like cat ears or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll explore that route, So,
yeah.
We'll see what happens there. I went and got something to fetch something for her. So we'll see what happens. She hasn't joined the party yet.
I also loved there's a quest early on in the game when you find someone and the character makes the comment like, oh no, I'm gonna die a virgin. And then Kai's like, well,
Yes.
we can fix that, right? I'm like, whoa, what the hell? So I really love the kind of silliness of the dialogue that exists. There's also some like memes that have made their way into the writing very subtly. So it's been a good time. But if you do bump your difficulty up, Goth, you're gonna want to like try to find everything I found because upgrading.
Oh yeah, I mean like I've been saving like main story stuff until I feel comfy now. So yeah. I like to explore and find stuff anyways. So
yeah. Upgrades are very handy there. So cool. That's Avowed. Huge shout out once again to Carrie. I feel bad because she was just talking nonstop. I think she wanted to continue.
Oh no!
But I didn't want to keep her past her time because I feel bad enough having game devs on. Let alone when they're like launching.
This is a professional broadcast.
Well, when they're launching in the middle of a game, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll come on Sunday before our game launches in 3 days." That's crazy.
It's not an MMO. They're on their press tour right now.
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess something like that.
It's not like they're winding up servers and whatnot. Yeah, she did great.
Yeah, she's
a lot of fun.
She's awesome. Definitely will pay attention to anything else she does. She's also an author. She like has a bunch of books that she's written as well.
Oh yeah.
So
she thinks she's better than me.
I think so. I think she's trying to say that.
Oh, do you think you're better than me?
Yeah.
You write books, all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
She brought up Kingdom Come Deliverance. Have both of you played that, or is it just Dan? Where you? I have not touched Kingdom Come Deliverance yet. Where are you guys at with it?
Dan?
I I've been playing it off and on, but I play very slowly because I'm the type of
Mhm.
person that's got like, look in every corner, steal everyone's stuff, you know, do all the side quests. So I just basically there's 2 acts in the game and I just got to act 2 last night.
Okay.
Um and the end of act 1, which I did last night. I was planning on just like playing a couple hours last night, just like, before bed, but it was
Yeah.
so good that I was up until 1 a.m. just like streaming because I could not stop playing because it was so enthralling and so good. And I haven't experienced writing and acting like this since like Game of Thrones when it was good. Like
Yeah.
Damn.
it was
Yeah.
so good last night. The parts I was playing that it's hooked me like crazy now. I'm like so into it.
Well, I saw they announced mods, so I was hoping they could at least make the game interesting now and put some spells and magic in there. So I dive in. But
No, it's a sim game. You're gonna pick a fight with someone. Oh,
It is
dude.
really hard to make an RPG interesting and fun, and when it's grounded in reality, I think, and they do a good job with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
like
just
it.
like
Like,
wandering.
yeah, just wandering around and just bumping into shit is the most fun part in
But
this game.
like, talk to me about the itemization, because I guess
Yeah.
I'm just like a loot
You're
whore in
poor.
everything I play.
You start out poor.
Okay.
And you're a street rat,
Mhm.
and good luck.
Like
And there's one difficulty, right? So it's not
Mhm.
you're not gonna you're gonna get what you get and not throw a fit.
Got it. But is
And
there like
the biggest obstacle people have with the game is the combat because it's not forgiving.
okay.
They want you to play in a very specific way with it. Like you need to be very like reactive to what people are doing, and not everyone likes that. You can't just like go in, swing your weapon, and chop things down. You have to like react to what the enemies are doing, and not everyone
and you have
likes
to
that.
learn.
Yeah, you have to like
Like you
learn
have to
what.
actually learn your skills, and it becomes more wieldly for you. Like you actually feel like that. It's not like oh, I got a point in using swords, and like okay, now swords are stronger. That you actually like you are better at using it. It's I think it's an interesting way to do it. It's a very sim heavy RPG.
Yeah.
Just like the first game, once you get Master Strike, the combat changes like to going from a struggle to like you can mow down groups pretty quickly once you learn Master Strike. It's an ability you learn like in the middle of the first zone, depending on how quick you can beat the guy that teaches it to you. But once you learn Master Strike, it just becomes like you can just. I chopped down like 30 guards in a row like last night during a mission. It was amazing.
Ooh, that's
Damn.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. I think Ko was the one that referenced it, where the combat is kind of like movie-esque, where if there's a bunch of people in front of you, one guy will come at a time to fight you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Is that accurate when you're facing like 30 combatants in front of you?
The first game, multi-enemy fighting was almost impossible because they would just like 2 men would be in the front and people and everyone else would go behind you and pound you in the back, and you'd just be dead in seconds. Phrasing. So
Phrasing.
like, but this one they don't do that as much. They try to stay in front of you, so it's like they've made multi-enemy combat a lot more fun and manageable. But they could still go behind you and hit you sometimes, but it's not as bad as it was in the first game. I feel
Got
like
it.
it's a lot easier now with fighting groups.
Got it. Wait, why?
Yeah. I mainly played off stream so far. I probably
Yeah.
only played like 25 hours, but mostly off stream.
I was shocked to see this is completely outside of the actual game, but I was shocked to see how many like drops they have going for this. As a
Yeah.
single player
Yeah,
RPG,
really
it
cool.
really rewards streamers to like to play the game because
They have
people
3
love
weeks
drops.
of different drops each week. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty unheard of. Yeah, for a single player, a strictly single player game, you don't see that. There's been a ton of drops. What is it? The last one was like a rogue outfit. I don't think I got that one. I haven't
Yeah.
streamed it
Yeah,
or been on
still
streams
going
watching.
on.
Is that?
Called Cat Purse, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool looking outfit.
It's I mean, obviously we've seen a ton of games utilize drops to great success, but I think for like the single player RPG, it can one, obviously it incentivizes people to stream the game itself, but it also creates this, because there's so many more people watching it on Twitch, I think it creates this space that the game is doing incredibly well on like Twitch as a platform, and so people
Mm-hmm.
extrapolate that and be like, oh, the game must be selling incredibly well, and it is, but it could also
Yeah, it's past 2 million copies.
yeah, it is. I hope more people notice that. Like if I'm Twitch, I point to this game and be like, yeah, the drop system is fantastic. You can create a
Yeah.
whole narrative with your game.
JP,
Just,
did you get the drops from the first week by any chance? You know?
I don't know. Maybe I know I got. I usually leave Gassy stream on when I get up and go to sleep. I'll leave his stream on, and he's been streaming it tonight, so I might have him. I'm not sure.
If you do, that armor set is really overpowered for the early games. So if you want to have like an easy
yeah.
time, I know you like to just go and have that power fantasy. You can go in with
A
wearing that
lot of
armor.
people have been kind of avoiding using it until they get to a certain point if you want to have the sim experience. But yeah, options.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
options.
Same with I think it's like was it like pre-order armor or like big boy edition armor or something?
Yeah, pretty much
that was also pretty.
all that stuff's really OP in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really fun game. My first like 4 hours, I was in a crime loop, and until
A crime loop?
you're plopped like yeah, I was in a crime loop. Because like if eventually you're plopped down in like the first village, whatever, after all of the like the prologue and stuff, and I was like, okay, time to RPG, and yeah, so I it was rough. I learned a lot of very difficult lessons about who I can punch. And then I also figured out if you knock someone out, you can snap their neck while they're on the ground, and that was hilarious. So I did that a lot. But eventually I had to change my ways. So I could actually play the game.
Yeah. You're just gonna be.
Yeah.
It's hard for someone to give you a quest if they're dead.
Oh, I didn't think about any of that.
Yeah.
Wait, can you just flat out kill NPCs to give quests without remorse?
Some of them.
Well, the only NPC I've not been able to kill so far was like the blacksmith in one of the first villages. So yeah, his wife though, so if you kill the blacksmith's wife, he'll walk around town with a lantern at night looking for her every night.
That's so sad.
That's so.
It is.
Why did you watch him do that? Can you go tell him that she's dead, or do you just have to watch?
No, I work for him. I'm his apprentice. He gave me a bed.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, you want to get rid of your free bed. I mean, you know.
I just I just want to see. All right. It's fine.
Oh my God!
No one's in trouble at all. Okay. All right.
The saddest story here. Dan, how much of this forest has like meaningful stuff in it?
This game's map they do a very good job at making the map feel bigger than it is, where it's not that big. It feels big. It feels huge, but it's not as big as it seems.
Okay.
But they're fantastic with hills and trees to like really give that illusion that it's massive and sprawling. But you can ride from one side to the other pretty quickly. It doesn't take too long, but it feels like it's this massive sprawling space. But there's tons.
Yeah.
But what's great about it, it's just so small. They can put meaningful stuff closer to each other than like like Horizon, where like you have this big gap of nothing between like two things that are interesting. So the map has lots of stuff, and there's random spawns on it where like you can run across an event that will be there for you but not someone else, because it can randomly spawn. There's lots of stuff to explore and find.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I guess maybe the follow-up, would you say that is like your playthrough wildly different than Gothalion's playthrough, or are they? Do they kind of funnel into the quest eventually, and then funnel out, and then find themselves going through the same quest all over again? That type of deal.
There's a lot of decision making and a lot of choices about what you want to do. Like you see, there's a good way and a bad way and a middle way. But I think the order can be very different. Like I can go to the south and do a bunch of quests there, and then work my way to the north, or someone else could go to the north and work their way around. So your playthrough could be in a completely different order, You may like make a choice where someone's dead, and so therefore you can't do their follow-up quest, or you could murder a whole town like Goth, and then there's no quest there at all. And,
Just one town. Just one town.
Can
you know,
you
so
can you take over a town and become like I know nothing of the game, so I'm just asking the limitations of the game. Can you become like a ruler of a place or no?
I don't. It's not that kind of game.
It's not that type of game. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
More narrative
there's no like
structure.
I'm mayor here now.
Got it. Okay.
There's some
yeah,
NPCs
everybody's
that-
got like a routine and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some NPCs that are like in Skyrim where they're essential and you can't kill them. You can't even attempt to kill them. Like they're just like immune to damage
Oh,
if they're like
yeah.
main story characters.
all right.
Oh yeah, so I guess you can't like brick it, but you could like brick a side quest essentially.
Yeah, like a non-essential side quest, you could kill someone that would
Yeah,
give you a little
yeah.
quest.
How do we decide who's non-essential? Though,
I know.
You gotta
you know,
see if
I
you
guess
can.
they decided for us.
Yeah, you gotta see if you can chop their head
Mm.
off. Is there what is there like full on dismemberment? How
Fortunately, no. I feel like that would be great, but there's no like, there's
Yeah.
not much gore or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no like Black Knight situation
Yeah.
where it's but a flesh wound. Oh, I would have loved that. That would have been great.
that would have been great. Yeah.
No gore. I mean, if people are sleeping and you do like the sneak kill, it's pretty brutal.
Your character will look like Carrie though during the whole game because you just get coated in blood. Like somehow
Coated
your
in
armor
blood.
and it's just blood everywhere
Oh,
all the
yeah,
time.
no.
You wash and then you get into one little fight and you're covered in blood again. It's crazy.
Yeah, you'll get stopped by the guards and they'll be like, "Stop!" And I'm like, "What did I do? I do nothing." I'm just like drenched. You know, it's but
Oh my
jamming it.
Well, yeah, that's how it was back then. You know, that's
It was.
how
Yeah, it was
back
a-
then. Yeah.
Yep.
Dan, how far are you in this? Since you've been, I think, putting the most hours into it.
I just beat the Act 1. There's 2 maps. So I just beat Act 1's map and I'm on to Act 2's map.
Okay.
And Act 2's map's even bigger than the first one.
Got it.
So-
Follow up.
That's where I am.
Follow up. Did you somehow get a time machine so that you can finish both this and Avowed before Monster Hunter comes out?
Unfortunately, no.
Shit.
The worst part is I was hoping that I'd play one and like not like one that much, but I really like Avowed and I really like this one. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
That's
just keep
tough.
splitting time between them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
Monster Hunter is going to take over when it hits. We were talking about that pre-show.
yes.
Yeah.
I think it will too. I actually am I guess thankful that I didn't fall into Kingdom Come yet. And maybe actually like check it out much later down the road. I'll be
They're
curious
gonna
to
add
see
a
how
bunch
so
of
fun, man.
DLC
Yeah.
and stuff too. So like
Okay.
that'll be a good time to play if you want to just save it for a later date when they have a bunch of new stuff in it.
Yeah, might be a rainy day. Because there's also, I guess, Yakuza, the pirate Yakuza
Mhm.
game on Tuesdays, same time as Avowed. So
Oh, really? That's out this week. That's wild. I didn't realize.
yeah, they've got a demo out for it that they announced at that Sony event.
Okay.
Dan, I have to ask, where'd you get your outfit from? Is this an Amazon?
Local blacksmith,
Oh yeah, you got a local. Okay. Yeah, noted.
ye old Amazon.
Ye old Amazon, everyone's favorite blacksmith. Yeah, looking
Mhm.
very. Do you know what your sigil is? Who's your lord in this outfit, Dan?
Del Taco.
Fantastic, fantastic. We can do a little bit of news here after talking about Kingdom Come and Avowed. Not that much going on this past week. We did have some unfortunate news this morning. Viktor Antanov, who was the art director on Half-Life 2 and Dishonored, has passed away.
Oh,
I think he was 52.
oh, geez.
Yeah,
That's
very, very young. I don't know exactly what the cause was, but Half-Life 2, I mean, that's as classic as you can get when it comes to the look
Yeah.
and feel of
Banger.
that game. So, yeah, very, very sad news there. We had the PlayStation event this past week. I think, did both of you stream that? Were you guys?
I didn't stream it. Gosh, what was
watched
I
it.
doing? I think I was busy with something, but
You didn't really miss out. There were some cool things there, but
the Borderlands trailer got me. The action in it looks like borderline doomy. from like a movement perspective.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a huge Borderlands guy. I love Borderlands. 3 did not hit nearly as well as 2 for me,
Right.
but it definitely looks like there's a darker tone in Bordy 4. Looks a lot gorier. And the movement looks like there's like double jumping, which like that's not revolutionary, but it's a first in a Borderlands game. So I like a good movement system in a looter shooter. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I hope it's good. I'll always check it out. And hopefully it hits. Hopefully it's 2 too. But yeah, that was a fun trailer.
It's the type of thing where I'm glad that you're here to talk about it. Like, what is it that you/the community want from Borderlands 4? Is it just more Borderlands, or do you actually want like innovation?
Good
Which sounds
villains.
really fucked up to say, like, do you want innovation? Because they haven't had it for 3 games now. But
the series didn't take much risks between 2 and 3. So Borderlands 3 felt very safe with poor writing compared to 2, and the villains were extremely unlikable. But what's good is the game, the narrative director acknowledged that 3's jokes were too juvenile, and has heavily hinted at going back to a darker, grittier tone, which I think is good because 1 and 2 definitely were more gritty and less like toilet zoomer humor.
yeah,
And outside of that, like 3's loot balance out the rip was just, it was too much. It was too giving. Like it was just raining legendaries everywhere. And if, you know, a loot chase is fine when you're getting rewarded, but if it's overly rewarding, then nothing feels special if everything's special. And it felt like everything was a legendary.
Yeah.
So it's like, how's the semi-open world going to feel? Because now it's not segmented maps. Borderlands 4 is going to be like a seamless world. It's not going to be open is what Randy said. But more like if you look at like Diablo 4's map, which is it's a seamless world, but it's still zones.
right.
So it'll be like that. And it's going to have a lot more verticality to it. So they're bringing in like grappling hooks and stuff. But we'll see. I hope it's good. I want a good Borderlands. Borderlands 2 is what I started my streaming career on, and I would love for a return to form for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I always prefer to be hopeful than cynical. So hopefully,
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I agree with you that seeing the like swinging and stuff and the Doom-ish style gameplay, it's a great way to get me back into it.
Yeah.
If they can nail like the writing, I wouldn't even say like, I personally wouldn't say that I love the writing of 1 and 2 because it's very Borderlands, right? Like I think you can just like look at Claptrap and he's a great personification of that's Borderlands writing. And you either you know like it or hate it. I think it's pretty black and white from the story point of view. So I'm curious how they approach that in today's day and age. Like, do we open up the game and the first comment out of someone's mouth is like Skibidi Toilet? Or
he literally said that he'll quit if a Skibidi Toilet joke makes
the writer
like,
did. The writer,
the narrative lead said like over his dead body will a Skibidi reference make it into Borderlands 4.
Oh
so
man.
Please please Sam, I swear to gosh, don't let it happen.
Maybe I've just come around on Skibidi thing. Like,
yeah, you think so?
I don't know. Like have you seen it's kind of like Power Rangers-esque. It's kind of like anime-esque in the most recent episodes.
Man. I see stuff at Target. They're like selling Skibidi Toilet, like magic boxes and stuff. And I just don't want to be around that anymore. You know, I've got a 7-year-old. So like,
is your 7-year-old super into it?
Oh, dude. I mean, okay. Well,
let's really break down the Skibidi Toilet phenomenon, Goth. Let's really get into it.
Okay. So here's the thing. He originally, this is a fun story. This is actually deep geek King Gothalion lore. Originally, he was terrified of Skibidi Toilet and thought it was real and would lose sleep over it.
What, he thought like the toilet was going to come alive and like Gary was going to pop out? Oh no.
Yes. Yeah, he would be like crying at night. I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, I feel like Skibidi Toilet. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It was a whole period where he couldn't. And then my daughters would mess with him. And like, it was a whole thing.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, yeah. So
I've never heard the dark side of Skibidi Toilet, man. It's serious.
There is a dark side. Yeah.
There
Mhm.
really is a dark side. You know what I'm saying?
There's stop it. No, there isn't.
Jesus.
Uh,
See, they should hire us to write Borderlands 4. I think me and Gothalion could really nail the story and all the popular
Mhm.
media jokes. It'd be
yeah.
10 out of 10. We'd nail it.
Mhm.
We nail it. Let us know. Just don't have, I don't want to talk to Randy. Just keep him out of the whole mess. I'll just talk with everyone else.
Yeah.
Keep Randy out of it.
I want to say that he's subdued over the years, but I would be lying to you.
Yeah. Did you see that shirt that he wore? That's like
It ain't
Yeah.
even
he
about
just
the
stood
shirts,
there,
JP.
and it's like, what is this shirt, man? You're
You
pissing me
know?
off with just the
Yeah.
shirt. It was crazy. It was crazy. We got a
Handled the
release
movie
date, by the way.
criticism so well.
Yeah. We got a release date for that this September the 23rd.
Yes.
So sooner than I thought. I was thinking that was going to be not even this year.
Yeah, I was worried it was going to get pushed because there was like the talk about how it was going to launch after GTA. But I don't know if that report has validity to it now, but that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But if that's true, that would suggest that GTA could hit. I don't think it would hit before Jeff Chella, dude, which is Summer Game Fest. It's Jeff Chella.
Oh yeah. I mean, they could launch it like that week of, right? Like at peak video games during the summer.
Yeah, it could still get delayed. Yeah, a hard date gets delayed pretty regularly in this industry, so it could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
We'll see what happens with all that. Of course, there were other games at the Sony event. It was about a 40-minute long presentation. We saw the it's not a sequel to Returnal, but House Marquee is making a game called Saros, which
Yeah, I saw that.
looks like Returnal, but not. It has what's the name of the actor?
Raul Cowley or Cowley?
Yes, Cowley. Cowley?
Cowley.
Yeah, Rahul, as he is known on the internets and also in the acting world. If you haven't seen Midnight Mass, go watch it. He's really good in there. But yes, it was very much like, I wonder why no more Returnal? Or I wonder if this will be connected.
did you ever
or
finish a
something?
run on Returnal?
Yes. Yeah, there was a lot
Okay,
of
I
stuff at
did
the
it.
end.
I enjoyed it. Narratively, did it leave room for a sequel?
They didn't answer all the questions, but
Okay.
they did not answer all the questions. Maybe
Right.
that's where they want to leave that world. I don't know.
Yeah,
My
but
guess-
potentially.
They're probably gonna at the end like somehow have a connection between these two weird experiences that are going on, where someone keeps dying and resurrecting over and over again. It's just too similar to
Yeah.
not related in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks badass though. Like, I'm excited to play more. Seems like it's just going to be a little bit more Returnal though. Not a bad thing, especially when
Yeah.
they do like the zoom in. You can see a little bit of the bullet hell, and I love the look and design of everything.
Returnal was one of the few bullet hell games I really liked and really enjoyed. It was
It's great.
very fun.
Play it on PC if you have a PC that can run it. Not only does it look great, it sounds great. Has a fantastic soundtrack to those boss fights.
Have you ever played any of the
specifically.
co-op?
I never did. I never jumped into
it's
any
fun.
of that. It was good.
Yeah. It's well balanced, yeah. And I think co-op is a tough thing to nail with a rogue. Which I don't know if you've tried Sworn.
Oh, Sworn is
Better.
godlike. Sworn is godlike.
Oh, it's so fun. You were in my stream the first time I beat Arthur. That's right.
yeah. You
Um,
inspired me to go beat Arthur later that night.
Nice.
Using the Rook. That game's great.
Oh, it's super fun.
I'm only on
big
second
recommend
difficulty,
if
though.
you like rogues or if you like Hades and you want to be able to play Hades with friends. That's what it is.
Yep.
Sworn.
It's good stuff.
Yep.
What else was at this event? Tides of Annihilation, which looks like King Arthur Stellar Blade, I guess. I don't. It looks all right. I'm kind of.
Are they gonna give him enough outfits though? Like,
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Let me,
oh wait, no. This had a female protagonist, right?
It
Oh
did.
yeah, it did.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Oh yeah.
They put out like a 10-minute gameplay after this, where it shows they've got like a fight against Mordred, and it's very much. I saw a lot of like Final Fantasy 16 in this combat wise.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
which could be cool. And I'm into the lore of it, but the gameplay definitely looks king to this. The story looks all over the place, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
looks fun. Could be cool. I don't know if there was a release date tied to this, but it looks polished. I think that's Mordred right there. If you want to watch the combat footage, you can see this fight fleshed
It
out.
looks clean though.
Over 10 minutes. A little bit of FPS drop on that ability right there, but I'm sure they'll get that fixed for launch.
Mhm.
I'm a sucker for the Camelot Arthurian lore stuff, so
Yeah.
might check it out just because of that. Dan, are you into this? Were you kind of a Stellar Blade fan? Where I don't know where you laid with all
I
that.
really enjoyed Stellar Blade's art direction. I feel like that game really like nailed the assets that as a gamer I care about most, and they just like really
God damn.
delivered.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I just
Mhm.
just was so like excited about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
that
could
was-
feel the excitement there and that
Outstanding delivery. Dan.
very
That was-
very manly grunt, Dan. You nailed it. You nailed it. Speaking of action character games, Liza P. I think it's DLC. Is this like a
yeah.
like I'm kind of
I'm
confused on
pretty
what
sure.
this is.
Yeah, it's DLC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like an expansion
Just-
pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lies of P came out in like August, didn't it? Or did time pass?
I think time
quicker
is
than I feel like.
Oh,
yeah, it
God.
came out last year.
Yeah, was it 2024, right? Or is it 23?
It might have been in 2023.
Bro, I don't even know anymore, man.
I think it was 2023.
None of it matters.
Yeah.
January was 742 days long, so
Yeah. I fucking love Liza
late
P.
23. Okay.
I'm super in to
Yeah.
everything that they're doing with this game.
I want
So
more from this studio. They absolutely nailed like Dark Souls style gameplay. Like I would say this is probably like the first Souls like that felt as good as From Software, and I would have believed that they made it. Like if I hadn't known ahead of time.
yeah. It fantastic game. That guy's back as well, so I kind of have questions for the story. But wait, I guess it's a prequel, so that's why he's back.
Prequel DLC.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
then there's also the Omni slash here that everyone was losing their mind over towards the end
Yeah.
of this trailer, which looks fantastic. So definitely on board for this. They posted a letter from the director. There's the Omni Blade attack. A letter from the director on Twitter talking about all of this. It seems like they know what they're doing with that game. And I hope we get a full-on sequel at some point from it, because the end of that game has a very cool like post-credit sequence, which could be very exciting for future titles. But the DLC Liza P Overture will come out this summer. We're excited for that. What else was shown in there at the State of Play that was worth talking about? Did you guys have any other big pulls from it? It was kind of quiet, apart from.
Yeah, it was kind of quiet.
stuff we
Otherwise,
talked
oh
about.
yeah, there's the Onimusha, but I thought we saw that previously, right?
Yeah, this was the first time I think we had seen like in-game stuff for it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looks cool for sure.
Oh, Metal Gear also looked really nice. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I get.
I
Yeah.
mean, without Kojima, it's gonna be questionable, but you know, I'm a big fan of Metal Gear, so I'm gonna give him a chance and just go in with hope that it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
All they have to do is copy what he did and make it better.
The trailer was really
Yeah.
strange that they just flat out told the whole story. Like it goes like start to finish for the whole game. I thought that was kind of strange. The game's been out for a while though, so whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like there's going to be big changes and surprises.
Yeah. It was still cool though. I was definitely expecting. I guess I had the hype monster infiltrate my brain. I was expecting something Wolverine or Ghost of Yotai or something big and first
Sure.
party from this, but there's no way they show that now. When
I imagine Yotai will probably. Does Sony do dedicated states of play?
Yeah, they did it for
yeah,
Horizon
Yeah.
and a couple others. I think Spider-Man as well.
yeah.
I think that it would probably be in a first party state of play because this was mainly partners, right?
Yeah, for the most part. There was a couple of first party
Yeah.
stuff, but it was mostly third party partners. They
Okay.
had the Nikkei, Stellar Blade stuff. Hell Is Us was there. Dave the Diver Ichiban DLC. The Digimon
Well, yeah, they said
stuff.
Borderlands 4 was going to be in a state of play, but did they say it was dedicated?
I don't know. I think
I know-
that was. I think that might be a marketing thing. Like
Yeah.
PlayStation's paying for that, and that would be
That
the
makes
spring.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah, that'll be
because
the
they're not
spring.
taking the Epic money this time around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
so
a lot of
launch
sense.
on
then.
Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one I was really excited about was Directive 8020, which was a horror game from Supermassive, the ones that make the
Ooh.
Quarry and
Yes.
Dark Pictures Anthology. Those games, those are always a fun time, even if they're not great games. They're fun to play with chat.
Yeah. That actually might be the first game from those devs that I play. I've always like watched playthroughs of Until Dawn. Countless streamers have played it, but the sci-fi stuff here really hooked me. Might be the first one that I actually play because of that. Cool premise
It gave
too.
me big like The Thing vibes, like something that's in the people, which is cool.
Yes. Definitely glad to see them go outside their like general wheelhouse of games here with the sci-fi.
Yeah, space horror can be
element.
super scary too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it could be terrifying. So
Yeah.
as someone who tends to not play these type of games at all, I might check this one out. Hopefully it's not too spooky. They
Or
also had
nestled around a bunch of big launches or something. Because that happens, like.
Yeah, that's true. Did you guys watch the Until Dawn movie trailer, by the way? Because that's a thing. That's out. They're making a full-on movie.
Okay.
It's I think in the Until Dawn world, but it's a new story. So I don't know how they're gonna do that. How that's gonna come into play, but I guess Sony's gonna see how it goes in the movie world. In the movie realm.
Until Dawn itself was practically an 8-hour movie, so I'm curious how they're going to condense it down into like a 2 or 3 hour movie.
Well, it's a whole new story, from my understanding. There's a lot of like time loop shenanigans. It's like a looping narrative in the movie. So they're basically a character dies at the start of it, and then they're like, "Oh, but then I'm alive again. I woke up, and now I have to like relive different ways of dying." And so I think that's the main narrative
Cool
thread
premise.
there. Yeah. You just get to see people die a bunch of different ways. If you're into that stuff for that type of game. I think that was it from the Sony event. No big surprises or anything there. There was no no Silk Song was shown. No Bloodborne was shown. The Bloodborne crowd was in full effect because I think it was like the 10-year anniversary for that. And
when would Silk Song even be announced at this point?
Well, it's announced. I guess
revealed?
When will we see more of it?
It's announced, but yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a Days Gone remaster, but like I said, Co's the only person that's excited about that game. Okay,
wasn't the PC version that pretty much already? So I don't know why they're doing it again.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, it's very, very weird for that. The Digimon stuff, I guess, was a big announcement for people that are big fans of Digimon. I haven't heard anything from that IP in a very long time, and I'm very upset that I didn't get to hear the Saturday morning jingle for Digimon during the trailer. So I don't want to talk anymore about Digimon. Okay?
I've never been a huge Digimon guy. So
really?
Yeah.
Digimon was dope, man.
Yeah, I missed out. Crap. It's too late. And I
think you missed out. I think
throw myself in that Digimon world and
change into Digimon monsters.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe check it out. We're too old. Nah, that can't be true.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. What else is in the news here? Just gonna look real quick, see if anything else big happened. There was a report that came out which, Goth, we were talking about it before. Monster Hunter World in the past 3 months has sold over 1 million copies. World.
That's
not
crazy.
Wilds. World.
Damn.
Yeah. That makes a ton of sense. I mean, World was an entry point for a lot of new hunters because and I know like Monster Hunter purists. I played old Monster Hunters. My first introduction was Try on the Wii.
Yep.
So I wasn't like a PSP guy with it, but a lot of people really loved those old Monster Hunter games. and are like, and that's sort of, what was the one that was Rise? Rise didn't appeal to me because
Rise
I
was
liked a lot of the
Switch one. Yeah.
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 Yep,
Yeah.
because it was more like the older Monster Hunters, and I think they'll still have those older style Monster Hunters. I think there's 2 teams now.
Mhm.
But yeah, Worlds was a great entry point for new hunters. It was a lot easier to dive into and learn the systems. There's a ton of quality of life. So yeah, I think with all the hype around Wilds, it makes a ton of sense that a lot of people are jumping in. What's price tag on Worlds right now? Anyway,
Chat was saying it was $10, which is pretty insane value.
Geez.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if that's with the DLC with Frostborn.
Even without it, that like $10 for that game is amazing. It's like
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah, insane value.
Yeah, 15 for World plus Iceborne. That's crazy value.
That's
actually.
pretty. Yeah, if you haven't played it and you're one to play Wilds, the gameplay will pretty much be 1-to-1 parallel. Apart from a couple things, it's worth it. And the amount of DLC they have for it now, like that, you can get 100 plus hours out of that game. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
And now with all the people playing, it's not hard to get groups.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be surprised if that game just doesn't completely drop in terms of players when Wilds.
Oh, it
drops.
absolutely will. But if you want to get like acclimated and learn how to use like weapon of choice going into next week,
Yeah.
I'm so excited, man. I was talking to JP about it before the stream, but like the social systems alone in Wilds are just so appealing as a broadcaster, because like it could be like, hey, these are the Twitch lobbies or like whatever, and it's 100 people, and it's so easy to get people from your chat and other chats together to learn how to play the game, because the Monster Hunter community they're not like gatekeepy that I've ever experienced. Like they want to see people learn and take interest in it, and I think it's going to be such a great social streaming game. Like I'm so freaking excited for it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
what
also,
weapons are you guys going to run?
It's also transcending, I think, like streamer circles. Like,
yeah,
there's so many streamers that don't typically play the same type of game that will all be playing the same type of game.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is just another way that, like me and Goth were talking about, that directory is going to be fucking fierce. It's going to be a stacked Twitch directory.
Oh, it's going to be super stacked. It's going to be slim pickings, but sometimes that's, when you're passionate about a game,
that's how it goes.
Your community rewards you. It'll come, and I love Monster Hunter, dude. I'll sit here with 10 viewers and play it. I love it. That's definitely one of my favorite franchises, and there's nothing like, getting a big meaty freaking hit with a great sword, and it's just as hilarious when you whiff and die. So,
it is true.
I've always been a hammer player. I like hitting things in the head and watching them pass out.
Yeah. I'm hammer as well. Me and Dan are mirrored in that regard.
But I'm gonna challenge myself this time to learn a new weapon. So I'm thinking about. I want to try gun lance because it looks really cool. It looks like a really cool weapon.
Yeah,
but hard to learn. So I want to try to learn gun lance this time.
Yeah. In the beta, I was rocking hunting horn because you can now have 2 weapons, right? I was rocking hunting horn, buffing, and then swapping to hammer after that. So that might be what I don't know if I want to go that
Smart
crazy.
play.
Like that's like pretty hardcore. I don't know if I
No, please, dude. No, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I might get tired of that by the like 7th. Maybe just like buffing initially or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm probably gonna stick great sword, and I've never learned dual blades, and I think I'm gonna do that. Dual blades look like a lot of fun, and their combos are so like over the top and anime and stuff. So
yeah,
I think that's the way I'm gonna go.
It's gonna be a good time. I'm really looking forward to
sure.
that.
Suffice to say,
yeah, it'll be a good event, and we're using it right now. But I think if you guys, if we ever hunt, we gotta do that shared stream. We gotta boost our own numbers.
It's
up
a good
in
system.
Directory.
I know.
I haven't seen any. What was that, Dan? Sorry.
It's a great system when for people to like band together that are playing together and like boost each other.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's great for like community intermingling, like especially if you have chats that would vibe with each other. Like there's, like not every chat's gonna mingle well, But I could say like us three we align, and it's been a good experience for folks in chat.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And now they have a feature where you can like dim messages that aren't from the core chat. I think that might just be on the streamer's end.
Well, yeah, I saw that today when we activated it. I didn't use it. Did either of you?
I didn't use it. No, I was reading it all.
Yeah, it dims the other two chats and makes your chat the like prominent one when you're looking at it. Which
that way you don't miss messages.
More.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah. I'm sure you'll see a lot of that with Wilds coming out.
I'm sure.
I guess Steam is doing a couch co-op fest right now.
Okay.
Till the 17th. So if you're looking to play some couch co-op or use the Steam couch co-op feature, that stuff is there. What else here? Marvel Rival devs came out and said that there's currently no plan for PvE mode within the game, which I think there was kind of a leak that was talking about that they are going to be going that route, but they came out and said there's not. On that same vein, did you guys watch or hear about the Overwatch event? Overwatch Spotlight, I think is what it was called.
Are they bringing back loot boxes?
Yeah, they are bringing back loot boxes.
That's what people wanted.
Let me find this press release.
Overwatch is fixed. Loot boxes are back.
Let me find this press release.
Your progression is working if you bring back loot boxes.
Yeah, so I'll show it here on stream. It was a really weird watch. Like I do think that they're doing some things right, but like a new era of innovation and excitement is such a weird thing to say with where that game is. With season 15
stuff back from the past. I love that.
Yeah,
we're innovating by innovating.
Yeah, they're segmenting the community so that now in ranked there's going to be a 6v6 ranked mode as well as Overwatch's 2's default, which is 5v5. The big thing they were talking about here is a new mode that's going to be coming in season 16, which season 15 launches on the 18th. So this will be sometime in spring. And it's called, it's going to be launching in April. It's called Stadium. And they said Stadium is the biggest game mode we've ever made. And it's like this weird hybrid between like CS and a little bit of Valorant, but still in the core gameplay of Overwatch. And it's a best of 7 mode. Yeah, I guess Deadlock as well. A little bit of Deadlock in there. They said here, you'll earn Stadium coins each round to unlock and customize abilities for your heroes. These powerful upgrades will be able to alter your survivability and damage while even completely revamping your hero's ability. Stadium is packed with the transformative powers and strategic encounters that enhance the hero fantasy beyond anything we've released, focusing on letting you play how you want.
Do you think they can crawl out of the narrative hole they're in?
I don't know. Like,
I think it's tough. I think that sort of vibe around a game is so hard to flip in this industry, especially for a PvP game when there's so many great PvP game options, especially from a free to play standpoint.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I feel like they were completely underprepared for Marvel Rivals. To be honest,
Rivals is eating their lunch right now. Like everyone,
they're getting dumpstered.
Yeah,
and hopefully, if the people are enjoying it still, like the people who are playing it, and if you're enjoying that game, then like hats off to you. But I've never been much of an Overwatch guy. I've played a bit of Rivals as I had fun with it. But gosh, they're in a tough spot, man. I don't know what I would do if I was Blizzard from that standpoint. Maybe start working on a different project.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, we're not privy to the only like numbers we have on it is I guess Steam. I think there's a Steam version of Overwatch,
and you have viewership numbers which will go up and down. On season and stuff. So
I still think there's a very core fan base to Overwatch that are severely dedicated to that game, and so if anything,
it's fair.
Those people will kind of always be around and they can, facilitate and work for those people. The hard thing is going to be, I think, getting everyone that left, like you said, around like the Overwatch 2 narrative, and it's going to be pretty hard to like turn that. Especially for someone as big as Blizzard,
even including Rivals.
Yeah. I have a lot of people have said that Rivals is actually, that coin is kind of starting to flip now, where people are pretty negative towards it, towards aspects of it.
Okay.
So I don't know how true that is. I haven't played it, but it's because my interests are elsewhere right now. But for the time, I would say the past month, there was a time where I was playing it like 4 to 5 hours each night and grinding my way through it. But people, I want to say people in the community are upset right now about the meta in Rivals.
Yeah, triple support.
Triple support, yeah, and it can be really annoying just like cycling through supports the entire time that you're fighting stuff. It
tough.
Can be frustrating. So if that
It'll
changes,
be a big test to see, like, is the developers of Marvel Rivals, are they going to be responsive to feedback, and will they act on it unlike Blizzard? And like, will they fix things, or will they be like Blizzard, where they'll be very stubborn about stuff and won't fix them, or they'll do what they want to do?
Well,
so their response to this stuff is going to be will define whether this game will be something that just puts Overwatch down and it'll never come back up again.
Yeah, I mean there was like an act this past week or maybe the week prior, Dan, where Rivals came out and said that for the mid-season patch, which is either this coming week or last week, they were going to do another rank reset. And so at the beginning of the season, they did a rank reset where they pushed everyone down 6 ranks. They came out and said that, hey, it's mid-season, we're going to do another rank reset. And the community was like, no, don't fucking do that. That's a terrible fucking idea. I don't have enough time to play. Like, please do not do that. Wait till the new season. And almost later that day, if not 24 hours after they announced that, they said, okay, we won't do it. We won't do a rank reset. And everyone is like,
what?
Huh?
Blizzard would never.
You listened to us?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The thing about Rivals too, as far as like how the vibe around it is, depending on, meta or whatever, I think they have an easier time pulling in people with characters just because of the IP. Somebody has an emotional connection to pretty much every Marvel, or at least one Marvel character. So people are going to want to see how those characters play. As where if Overwatch brings out a new character, Blizzard's job is to convince you why that character is interesting and why their skill set is something that you'd want to invest in.
Sure.
So that's an uphill battle. Like a good use of the Marvel IP is just so strong.
That's very valuable.
And you can't say that it's living and dying specifically on that IP, because we saw what happened with Marvel's Avengers, which
the game's got to be
the
good.
iron at. It was at the height. It was at the height of the MCU, and it just wasn't a great game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see how they do long term. I think they'll do fine, and I think they can drum up hype as long as they keep it fun and listen to the community and make the necessary changes. But yeah, it all comes down to good communication about like current and future.
I think Rivals also has the added benefit of the calendar releases and the cycle that they have developed is mirroring something like Genshin, to where there's constantly new stuff happening and you're constantly seeing new things within the game. So like this past week, they announced and launched like a new skin for Sue Storm and Mr. Fantastic for like Valentine's Day. So that was like a wedding skin. And then next week, I think, is the brand new heroes, the other 2 Fantastic Four members, right? So you're going to have 2 new heroes just to jump into mid-season, which should, get a bunch more people that have already kind of dropped the game, getting in there and hopefully playing the Thing and Human Torch. I think a tank and a DPS. So
I see someone in chat talking about Marvel Heroes. There is actually a private server. I can't remember what it's called right now. Someone from my chat probably has it. There's a private server. They should have all of the content in it, I think, by fall. It's playable now.
Nice.
So if you're someone who played a lot of Marvel Heroes, or like me, I missed it completely.
Yeah. It is great.
Yeah, there's Project Tahiti. I would check that out if that was if you have fond memories of Marvel Heroes, because I think that went downhill Not because of the
Yes.
game, but because of the people who ran it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw there was actually the game director of that was in the news recently talking about its failure. I don't remember the headline exactly, but that game pops up every once in a while. People seem to really love that game. Yeah, David Brevik.
Yeah.
People love that game. And rightfully so. Like it was cool for what it was unique in what it was trying to do.
Live service Marvel Diablo. Like that's the formula is there if you do it right, and it clicked just right for a lot of people, evidently.
Yeah. What else happened? None of us played it, unfortunately, because they have very specific timings for the different tests. But Elden Ring Nightreign held its, I think it's closed beta test, but the embargo was lifted this past week. And I think there's another test like tonight at 10 p.m. or Dan, you were saying it's
like
at
time
6 a.m.
zone, like
tomorrow?
they roll it out. So
yeah. It's the most the best one to accommodate our schedule was yesterday at I think 2 p.m. Eastern. But every single person that I've seen that have played that game, the only thing that they come out of saying is like, that game's fucking weird. It's really, really weird. I watched I think I watched Vadi's video, who's a big Souls creator, and he was kind of talking about what it is. Essentially, it is a roguelike Elden Ring with... Oh, no, it was Iron Pineapple. Thank you, Chat. Another big creator. It's a roguelike Elden Ring experience that has you dropping in a la Fortnite / Battle Royale at the start, and then you run to a camp with predetermined characters to go and fight monsters in a 3-day cycle that ends with a boss at each day. And then at the end of day 3, you fight like the big boss.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening.
Yeah. And there's apparently, I think I saw someone in chat say there's no crossplay.
Oh, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that.
Is that accurate? Or is there just no crossplay in the beta?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I might have misunderstood. I don't know. I just read someone in chat said that it's too early. Oh, just in the beta.
Yeah.
Correct. They've said no crossplay. That's wild for a multiplayer centric game like that to omit crossplay.
Yeah. Let me pull up some footage of it here from.
Yeah.
Not in the beta. Not sure about live. Interesting. I mean, you would want it. I mean, the beta itself is console only, correct?
It is, yes. PlayStation or Xbox only, I believe.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Yeah.
It's alpha, not finished, sure. You know.
So yeah, here's a little bit. This footage is this Iron Pineapple's footage? Yeah. Here's like how the game functions. You can see the map. You can see when you spawn in. From people that had played it and told me about it, they were running into the issue that happens when you play like public battle royale matches, and that's everyone has their own directive. And so since you can't queue with friends right now, you'll jump in and everyone just goes off in their own direction. And so if you're not doing these encounters, these like group encounters as a group, you pretty much die right out of the gate. And so that could be a little frustrating. I don't know how you fix that either on like a gameplay scale, how you keep everyone working together. So is there
like meta progression?
I don't know.
Like how's your... Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
What's the carrot?
I don't know exactly what that is. Chat might have to answer that.
I know that the hub is the hub from Elden Ring, that the same place. I forget what they call it. That where you like your bases in that game with the same characters. Like and you get something from the runs that you can use to upgrade and unlock stuff. I'm not sure exactly the details on it, but I know that you earn stuff that you do unlock bonuses, and you unlock new things to add to the pool of stuff you can randomly get.
Okay. So like your standard roguelite meta progression thing. That makes sense. Yeah. That sounds neat. I've never been a big Souls-like guy. I've only played a few. But I would probably check this out since it's so co-op centric. That's kind of right up my alley. I'm curious if it feels like since it is co-op combat, is it going to feel as difficult, or is it if you just have like a good team?
Yeah,
kind of thing. I don't
that's
know.
how you res your teammates. By the way, you go up and hit them.
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently, the
Yeah.
map is the same every time, so that way you like can
Yeah.
plan what the most optimal like route would be each time. Like,
Well, the map is the
Mhm.
same, but it has the Fortnite
ring,
circle,
yeah.
the ring, right? So it shows you, it kind of dictates where you can go. But yeah, you can definitely choose different camps, and there's bosses at different camps and all that type of stuff.
That's a really smart way to make money off those assets again.
Yes,
Frankly, that's brilliant. You know, you
like-
be mad at it.
that's kind of what I think as well. That Bandai Namco is like, guys, we sold so many fucking copies of this game, and like the IP is huge. And now you want to go make a completely different Souls experience.
Yeah.
What if we did something with this instead?
a lot of people are saying it will be randomized on launch, just the beta is static right now. Where
Yeah.
It's just going to be
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the coolest things that came out of Elden Ring, apart from the game itself, from the community, was the co-op mod for the PC version.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
so
seamless
many
co-op. Yeah.
so many people used it and had a fantastic time with it. So I feel
Yeah,
like
they have
this
to
is
monetize it.
this is them
Yeah.
kind of monetizing that process and adding a little bit
Yeah.
of a gameplay element to it, which is not bad. Like if it's cool, if people like it, I think that's perfectly fine.
It also-
I mean,
testing like
Go ahead.
can they add it to the engine? Like could they add multiplayer and make it work?
yeah,
Like how could they tweak the engine to make it work?
yeah. A fully fledged, like if I could go through a proper Souls game, you know, like an Elden Ring 2 with official co-op support, that could be pretty badass. I don't know how they do it from a balancing perspective, apart from just like upping HP values and stuff like that. But if this is the groundwork for something like that in the future, it could be pretty awesome. And it
yeah,
could
it's
be a
much
good
more
testing ground.
bite-sized than a full Elden Ring playthrough. So yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, and it's got bosses
I mean, if it's
from the previous
polished, they can
games as well.
justify the price tag.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Have they said how much it is? I think they actually.
It's
announced-
$40.
It's $40. Okay. Yeah, they announced like
yeah.
collector's editions and stuff this past week, but this
Yeah.
$40 seems right. I think that's appropriate.
I agree. Reusing assets. I hopefully it gets crossplay. I think you would need to do that because obviously with the mod, you're not going to have crossplay with the mod, so you're limited to who you play with.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't know if that's on the table. I would hope so, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, $40 for that's fine. I think.
Yep. That's Elden Ring Nightreign. Still has some, I think, one or two more like 3-hour periods left
Yeah.
in the testing. If people were lucky enough to get a code. Yeah, it's not a battle royale for folks.
No.
I think it's a disservice to the game that everyone's like, oh yeah, there's a Fortnite ring, because then everyone's like, so are you fighting other people? Nope. There's just a ring that closes in. That's it. That's the only Fortnite aspect of the game. And also there's no custom characters. There are like presets, and I think
That's
there's
interesting.
I want to say there's
Now
8
is
total?
that just for the test, or is that just
That's how the game's designed.
Yeah, it's like a class system.
Yeah, it's like class
Okay,
system,
yeah,
exactly.
like you're yeah. So can you change the looks of them, or you're playing a hero?
You're basically playing a hero, from
Okay,
my
yeah.
understanding of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty par for course for most rogue lights, I think.
Yeah. Some
That makes
people,
sense, yeah.
that might be a pretty big turnoff, though, especially in like the Souls fandom.
Sure.
People like
Yeah.
customizing their own character. So I could see some people
get
being
that,
upset
yeah.
by that.
But I mean, like, I think what some players are gonna have to look at is that it's not a standard, like FromSoft Souls game. You know, it's
Right.
in the same vein, the same world, so you know what you're gonna get there. How
Yeah.
combat will feel, but the structure of the game will be different.
That
So
could
I
also.
think if this experiment goes well, you could see the format hit like other kinds of
Souls games.
Yeah, or other or you know, an MMO or something. You know, like if does this work? Can we take our IP and a Souls kind of game and apply it to a roguelike? That works, sure. All right, let's try something else. But if it flops, then they probably would hang that up. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably do well. Anything Elden Rings is gangbusters, honestly.
Yeah, it's very, very. the IP is obviously a big name. And it seemed like interest in this was pretty high over the weekend in terms of people just wanted to check it out and see what was going on. But
Yep.
yeah, we will see. This is the mage class, by the way. The mage class works. Have you ever played Dota? Dan, I think you've played Dota before, or at least have you played Dota before, Dan?
No, I was warned not to.
Okay, that was good warning. In Dota, do you know Invoker? Do you know what the idea of the Invoker is? Where you basically have like
Is that the person that
spells.
tells you things that you in chat?
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, so the idea is that you basically cast different elements. You can see him kind of showing the UI here on game that exists, but instead of he's using his own assets because I guess they weren't allowed to show it. You can do like 2 blues and 1 yellow, and that casts a certain spell. Or you can do 2 reds and 1 blue, and that casts a certain spell. And so the way it works in this game is you basically mix and match those different elements, and I think there's 9 total spells that you can cast. So it's not like I choose fireball. It's that, I'm gonna do 3 reds and see if that's a big fireball type deal.
Yeah,
So.
like the last spell is determined by what combo of spells used before it.
Yeah. Magica is another game that kind of uses a similar system that I think you might have interacted with once upon a time. So looks cool. Seems like they're gonna have all the normal classic archetypes as well as like hybrids of such that you've come to expect from Souls. That is Elden Ring. Nightreign though, still closed beta. I think is that announced for this? I think it launches May 30th. It will launch May 30th this year. So seems like a good time right before what did you say, Goth? Coachella-thon? Coachella?
Oh, Jeff Chella? Yeah.
Jeff Chella, there you go. Yeah,
Jeff Chella.
That'll be right before all that happens.
Previously E3, Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, all that stuff. Looking through other news. Did either of you play Infinity Nikki by chance? I think.
No.
Okay.
Vicariously through Julia.
I think we all saw Julia play it.
Yeah, she's like riding a bike and it looks really relaxing. Is that what you do?
Yeah. Would it surprise you that Paper Games, the Chinese company behind Infinity Nikki and Love and Deepspace, generated nearly $1 billion in 2024?
Hey, Dr. Evil.
Holy shit. That is,
that's a lot of money.
That's crazy, man.
They're doing well there. I'm not sure what Love and Deepspace is. I know what Infinity Nikki is, like you said, because of Julia, but
yeah, I feel like Love and Deepspace, it might be pretty self-explanatory. It's like you're in deep space and you got to find love. Is that?
Love and Deepspace is gotcha for ladies. Apparently, it's a
so a husbando.
It's a boyfriend app.
Oh, cool. There you go.
It's a boyfriend language learning model app.
Language.
That's a lot of words together.
Yeah, it has AI boyfriends.
Yeah. Cool. What are they modeled after?
I don't know.
Say Twitter.
Hold on. Let's all watch a trailer together.
Here we go. Make sure it's a clean clip. I don't know, dude.
Random clip. This is Caleb's trailer.
Caleb.
What?
She can fix him.
What?
Ladies, you gonna fix him?
Fuck. They're very hot, to be honest.
Now, dude.
JP, watch link me the Valentine's banner. I'll take a look. I mean, it makes total sense that this exists, right? Like, why would they just ignore half the world with targeted content?
Dog tags.
Yeah.
They're a lot. Those are some high heel boots.
Well, he's a commander, Goth. He's got a.
Oh no.
Oh man, in uniform.
I don't know. He had fascist vibes. He might, but that might be someone's particular husbando.
That's
dude.
in these days, Goth. That's all the rage, apparently.
I don't want to talk about it. That rabbit hole could stay closed.
Oh God. This is Oh my God, that's a link. Hold on. I have a link to the Valentine's banner.
What is the gameplay in this game? Or do you just talk to your AI boyfriend or buy them gifts?
Yeah, that's it.
Yup.
Hold on, I'm trying to. Oh wait, what?
Waiting.
Oh my.
Oh shoot, dude.
Special daily outfits.
He's looking like he's getting ready to act up, bro. Ladies, do you like that many straps and
That
buckles?
is
I
a
gotta
bad
ask.
boy right there.
Yeah.
He's got a nice
Like,
job during the day, but at nighttime he gets a little wild.
I feel like I don't have enough buckles. Like just in general, like at all, like in my whole wardrobe.
What?
Is that the gameplay?
That is not the gameplay.
No,
Hold on,
shut your mouth, bro.
I gotta figure out what the gameplay
No
is.
way.
Oh, there's no.
Bro. Dude. They're like halfway finished and they got to play a Flappy Bird mini game. That ain't going to work. That's ridiculous.
What is the actual gameplay?
I don't know.
Dude, every trailer is just a skin trailer for.
Yeah.
I don't know what the gameplay is. Version 3.0 features. Oh, it is just a boyfriend simulator thing.
Okay. So
Feature upgrade, and it is, yeah. So they're talking. It's like AI generated. Glint photo booth. Oh Jesus. Okay.
Introduce him to friends and family.
Oh,
This is my new boyfriend. He's on the phone.
He's a bit of a fascist, but it's fine.
Okay, sorry.
That crystal in the chest
for audio
painful.
listeners, we're all just gawking at what this is. Oh,
You can design yourself too, and you can be a pretty waifu.
Okay.
What does your husband do?
According to one of my mods, the game also tracks players' menstrual cycles.
Oh.
So, yeah. Weird game.
Okie day. That's good.
Made $1 billion.
Like in game,
I guess,
or real. Like, do you have to?
I don't know.
How are they gonna prove it?
I don't know. That's it.
There's a skill tree for your boyfriend.
Oh wait, there's gameplay.
Oh, there's gameplay. Is it like
yeah,
mini
look at that.
games?
What is? There's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand anything.
Wait, is that an RPG? What is happening?
It's kind of RPG, yeah.
There's a lot. Oh, it looks like Genshin. But husbandos.
That sounds about right.
Looks like a dating gotcha.
Love and Deepspace. I never heard of it.
Love and Deepspace.
Makes a lot of sense, I guess.
Deep Space.
Yeah. That and Infinity Nikki. It's all the rage. It's all the rage.
Hoyo verse, more like broyo verse. Am I right?
You're right.
Because it's males, chat. Because it's a bunch of dudes. Get it?
You are right about that.
Dan left.
I think that's it on news. I think that's enough news for the day. I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, I don't think anything else. There's nothing else going on at all.
Yeah. You guys been playing anything else besides Avowed and Kingdom Come?
I've
Go ahead.
I've been like super hooked on Warframe. Like
Really?
I've
word?
the hell out of Warframe. Like that game is good now. Like I'm like actually hooked on it. The latest content update, the 1999, was just like really like pulled me in on like anything else they've ever made for it. It was just like, and then I started going back through other updates and just I missed out on a lot. Like the game is actually super fun. If you love to grind stuff, if it like very grind heavy game, and if you love to grind shit, like there's no other game that is like has so much stuff to grind. Like you have 10 years worth of content of things to grind for, and that is the game. There's no real in game other than Fashion Frame. Like grinding the stuff is the game.
I could see Gothalion slowly being pulled. I could see Reb's fucking claws slowly pulling him.
And this is the best part about this game is you can trade anything in the game, or most anything in the game, for the premium currency. So you can play the game and earn the money stuff just by playing it. You don't have to buy anything ever. So you can trade
Yeah.
with people, and then you get the money to buy stuff from their shop if you want. So there's people that are completely free to play, never pay anything for it. So you can completely do that. So
Think
it's
about
like really
Warframe. It can be a little polarizing from a gameplay standpoint. It's a little fast for some people, and I think it's a tough one to stream. I think it's fun to play, but I don't think it conveys well over stream.
It's
both
not a
for-
great streaming game outside of because it's not fun to watch. Like watching people grind like the same thing again and again. It's just not that super exciting.
Sure. But I mean they've come a super long way. I'm big excited for Soulframe. It's still pretty early, but you know it's going to have the same progression systems as Warframe, but with that like Borderlands Souls like combat. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've put like I think 400 hours in the Warframe, and that's nothing like for Warframe players. That's like you did the tutorial.
Right.
Yeah, fun game though. Like every time there's a big update, I'll jump in and check it out. I think my favorite content so far was New War. New War is really, really stellar because it took like the Warframe. Did you go through New War yet, Dan?
Yeah,
I think you had
you
to
have
get to
do it
99, right?
99.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so about 2 years ago, Reb took over because Steve moved to work on Soulframe.
Yeah.
And ever since she took over, the game has been like doing quality of life updates nonstop. Like the latest one they're going to be releasing is going to lower the defense missions from 5 waves to 3, which is going to save like tons of grinding and stuff, like little things like that. They're going to have a thing where you can select all your mods and disenchant them all at once versus having to click each one individually like you have to. Like they've been doing that kind of stuff for years now.
That's
the game's
awesome.
like it feels like it's in a good place if you've been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
They're definitely removing friction because the game has gotten so wide and there's so many things, you know, that they sort of have to balance how deep the grind is for every little thing. But yeah. Reb port on Drop Frames when? Oh, dude, that would be a great show.
Reb's fucking awesome.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's a ball, dude. Her and Megan are just incredible people and super fun to hang out with and very down to earth, and just they genuinely love not only, you know, Warframe and their community, but just the whole culture behind it. So I only have nice things to say about them.
Yeah,
I met both of them at TwitchCon. They came up to me randomly, and they were just the two nicest people in the world, and would sit there and talk to you for an hour if you wanted them to, because they don't feel they need to rush away or anything. Like they're just there in the moment with you the whole time. They're fantastic.
Yep.
My braggadocious moment about Reb is that we went to a Michelin star restaurant together in Chicago. And had a very nice meal at Alinea there. So yes, I love Reb. She's great. She paid for the alcohol bill that night, and I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, she was. It was fantastic. She's welcome on the show, and her and Megan have both been on the show before. But I'd love to have them back anytime. Anytime.
Yeah,
I'll bring.
sure.
I didn't know Dan was super into Warframe now. We'll have Dan come on and chat her up.
If you need someone that knows the game now, like for the longest time, I was just like, I kept going to the game. I'm like, I'm just lost every time. I just didn't get it. But this last time I played through 99, and then I started going exploring different parts of the game, and now it has clicked, and I'm hooked on it, and I've been playing it like nonstop for weeks now.
Nice. Yeah,
you really have to, like, once you get over that initial hump and then it clicks, like you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's
I'm starting to steal path now. That's how far I am into the game. Like I'm getting
damn.
to that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're
nice.
grinding.
Yeah.
You're grinding. Yeah, my
That's
offline.
great. So that's been what your off-stream game then, mostly, Dan?
Yeah, it's been my like fun off-stream game because like I've tried streaming in the past. It's just not.
It's rough.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of Destiny 2 mainstream gamers have swapped over to Warframe recently and found success with it.
Yeah, they've been playing. There's been a few guys who have been playing Warframe. At least checking it out, you know?
Yeah, seeing what it's all about.
Crossover for like what people enjoy from Destiny that they could find in Warframe and vice versa.
Right. I'd be remiss, Goth, to not ask you about Destiny these days.
I don't know, man.
And where it's The joke was that I always see you on Twitter just defending, and so that's why you hate Destiny, and you're in the hate Destiny box.
You know, I'm not. I give what I find to be pretty mild critical feedback of Destiny these days. But I pretty much only play when there's something interesting going on.
Yeah.
The last couple seasons I didn't really dig on. And I thought that Final Shape was fun. I thought it was good.
It's great.
I thought it was a nice bow on the whole story. But now they're doing like a whole Dreadnought thing, so that's like near and dear to me. And they have like a whole sort of like roguelite is like the mode for this season.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Destiny. I don't know what Bungie's going to do. I personally don't think Bungie of current is Bungie of old. Feels different. But when it comes down to it, in the space of like live service looter shooters, and there's not many, like Destiny is such a good feeling game, you know? And I feel like the longer I take a break, which is what I do. So I'll usually like take a break for 4 to 5 months, and then I'll play quite a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of
and it feels better
stockpile the
then.
releases. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really it lets you step away from it, so you're outside of that ecosystem. And I'm always reminded, like, oh, this is a really fun action game at its core, and as long as I'm not no-lifing this, I can enjoy it when I am playing it. So yeah, I was actually going to mention it earlier, but I don't know if it's still on Humble Bundle, but Destiny is like, it was like $30 for
Destiny 2 was?
everything.
Wow.
Everything. Every DLC. I don't know if that's still going.
Damn.
But that's an easy deal to recommend to anybody who likes a shooter, because even if you just go in and do the story stuff, that's a lot of freaking content. Like if you just plan on ignoring all the live service stuff and just enjoying what's there, and then it's like, you might as well. That's cheap.
I mean, that's 100 hours easy, right? Of just story stuff.
Yeah.
I would say.
I mean, I can't think of many first-person shooters that play as well as Destiny, outside of like maybe Titanfall 2.
I mean, it's Bungie, right? Like it's people that made Halo.
It's Bungie.
The fucking shooting's the best part. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So there's 2 days left on the Humble Bundle, and I'm not even like a Destiny guy that much anymore, but it's pretty easy to recommend.
Totally.
Even with all the issues with onboarding and all that, and early game and stuff, it's mine is freaking well, dude. I mean, it's $30.
Yep. Hey Dan, did you check out Civ 7 at all?
A little bit, yeah.
I have heard it's not great. What are your thoughts on it?
So Civ every time goes through this cycle where they release it. It feels okay, but it feels like it's unfinished. It feels like it's missing stuff. This is the exact same way where like it's parts of it feel good, parts of it feel like it's not done. There's a lot of UI issues right now, but they usually spend the first year fixing stuff, and they added the first expansion, then it feels a little bit better, and then they keep fixing it, and then they release the second DLC, and that's when the game is like, oh, it's great now. Civ 6 was the exact same thing. Everyone hated it when it came out. It had a bunch of problems. They released the first DLC, it felt better. Then the second one, was like, oh, now it's fun. So it's going to be the exact same way. You just got to give them time. They always get it there, but it just takes them a while after launch to finally tidy it up at the end.
Yeah. So now, back of the box quote, Civ 7, great time to play Civ 6.
Yes, Civ 6 is in a great place now if you want to go check it out.
Yeah, I've heard that is, you're not the only person to say that. I saw, I think Jesse Cox bounced off of it this past week as well, after several hours with it. So you mentioned off-stream games. I've been very I tried to have a conversation last week on the show, and it might happen with you two. I'm not saying that you two are going to be any better about it, but I tried to have a conversation with Zeke and Co, because I fell down the VRChat rabbit hole.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and now like every night it's about 5 hours of VRChat, and I'm just fishing. You know, we're just fishing.
Yeah.
We're just
So what is it about that melts your, like it tickles those endorphins?
It's literally just a social hub, right? Like it's my social hub of last night. There was probably like 10 of us sitting in a VRChat lobby, fishing, shooting the shit about anything.
I've never seen it or played it. What do you like do in that game?
So you can kind of do everything, but you can also do nothing, and you can also do everything, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. It's a very weird space. So, like, for instance, here's a perfect example of VRChat in a nutshell. Last night, it was myself and Strippin. If you don't know Strippin, he's a content creator. He streams variety.
Yeah, not somebody actually
Not
stripping, because
someone
that
actually
would be
stripping.
common for VR chat.
Although that is very common, yeah.
Yeah, and JP wasn't stripping.
No. I was in an alien avatar, like a little gray guy, little gray alien, much like think like XCOM. That was my avatar, and he was in his. Strippin has a full-on custom-made avatar, which is just like his channel mascot.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you? Very buxom, red-headed character named Red. Pretty much what you would expect. We're sitting there fishing, right? And someone joins our lobby, friend of Strippin, walks up to Strippin, and I'm not really paying attention. I'm just kind of telling a story or something. And I look over to my left in VR, and it's just a straight up, like, pretty much nude anime lady girl. It's like, hey, Strippin, how's it going? What's going on? What's happening? And Strippin's like, oh, we're not doing it. We're just fishing, man, grabbing fish bullets, just hang out. We're just hanging out. And I didn't know this person at all. This is the first time meeting them. And I'm like, huh. It cut to like maybe 40 minutes later. Someone is like playing a DJ set from Ultra. There's like 20 people all fishing. Everyone's having, it's basically turned into a party at this point. Everyone's having multiple conversations about multiple different things, talking about what they're going to be doing over the next couple of days, trying to decide if they're going to go to DGen night, which is a weekly thing that happens every Saturday, where exactly what you would expect happens at DJ night, and that was like, 2 to 3 hours. It's literally just virtual socializing. Like, that's all it is. And it blew up during COVID, and this is kind of like the after effects of all of that. Not DGen night. Very different.
It sounds like the evolution of early chat on the internet, where chat rooms, where like you just join a random chat room and have conversations with strangers, and this is kind of like the evolution of that. You never know what you're gonna run into.
Strippin was saying that it's different these days. So like in the early days of VR, he would join public lobbies, and public lobbies back then, like, it would be a virtual bar, right? And he would be at the bar talking to the bartender, who was a real person, about whatever. And like Bert from Sesame Street would walk up and talk about how he hates his job, like his actual job. And he's just complaining, complete random person, why he hates his fucking job. And then someone completely random in a Big Bird outfit would show up and like consolidate with him, or commiserate rather with him about how like, it gets better. But now it's like you join a fucking public lobby, and it's like the creepiest shit you would expect, right? It's like a bunch of very young people who got VR or have VR and doing not great shit.
No thanks, man.
Yeah, and it's you don't do public lobbies, like you can't access. You don't want to go into that shit anymore.
Yeah.
And if I would say, if you have kids and they have access to VR, like, get them the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Have you played around with web fishing that much? I guess it's
no.
VR
they talked about it. I think everyone that does the VR fishing does also play web fishing, though. Similar experience, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just a desktop version of that where everyone's fishing. And maybe not in like weird hot anime custom avatars. So they're little web fish guys. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pull Gassy Mexican's my literal neighbor now, so I think I'm gonna pull him into VRChat because he's heard me talk about it nonstop. It's like, I want to see what that's all about. So we'll see how it goes. If you guys ever want to jump into the pipeline, you let me know. We'll jump you into the pipeline. If you ever want to dust off the VR,
VR
equipment.
makes me nauseous, man.
Yeah,
I wish it didn't. Oh, it makes me so nauseous. It's rough.
I
yeah,
get sick.
Yeah.
Now I can't do it.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
any motion at
Yeah.
all.
I don't know what it is. Any VR makes me just get extreme vertigo. I think some people are just like that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely like that. I have a really hard time with anything VR. I wish I didn't, because No Man's Sky is so well done in VR. But I tried it and I was flop sweats in like 10 minutes. It's rough.
really. Damn,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get
Yeah,
bad
it
headaches
does.
an hour. It's rough.
yeah. It's funny you mentioned that an avatar comes with like preloaded things that it can do in terms of animations and different like things. It can have like you can pull out a gun or something as someone, right? The alien has a thing called DMT mode, and it basically creates like this weird trip environment for whatever you're standing in. I lasted about 30 seconds in that before I was just like, this is a puke simulator. Like, I'm going to vomit everywhere. It is not a great experience. So
Yeah, I would not do well with that.
yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that if you want to experience it all. But yeah, that's been my offline game. Kind of just buying time, I think, till Wilds come out, and then I'll just be playing that nonstop. Been playing a lot of Sworn as well. Gothalion, you brought that
Such
up
a banger,
earlier.
dude.
It's great.
Yeah.
You should definitely be playing
I've
that. If you haven't.
put about 150 hours in the last month and a half into a Phantasy Star Online 1 private server.
Oh, nice.
So I've been like deep in that, and that started on my break. Gosh, it's just like such a classic game, man. And it's still super active. Which brought me to like one of the things I decided to do when I was on my break is we're in process of opening a studio.
Yep.
And so what we're aiming to do is essentially make a spiritual successor to PSO1, because I don't believe that Sega did it with PSO2.
Right.
And pretty much all the devs that I've talked to, the structure of what we want to build is really doable with an indie to AA budget. So early planning phases, and yeah, that's kind of be my passion project going forward, and hopefully it pans out.
Awesome.
And if it doesn't, I'll be sad. But if it does, then cool. Because I love that like slow, methodical kind of like rhythmic combat that PSO had, and the grind was fun and just super social and stuff. So yeah, that's where we are there.
Yeah, that's one of those games, kind of like WoW Classic, like World of War, vanilla WoW, but also like RuneScape. Everyone always has stories from their youth of like, oh yeah, I remember PSO1 doing blah 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 blah, and they just tell me about some random shit that they did back in the day. So
yeah,
you might be onto something there, because you're right. I don't think that the most recent release caught fire like they were expecting it to.
No, well, I mean, two had an audience, but it really leaned a lot into a lot of what I find to be wrong with games as a service. And it also was like really over the top, flashy, like anime, which I don't think appeals to every gamer. I think there's some people that if they see an anime game, they immediately go, nope, even if it's good.
Yep.
They're like, that's not for me. And I think PSO2 did that. So yeah, and it's not a complicated game. I'm really confused as to why no one's tried to tackle it at this point. And I've been talking to some of the people that run Affinia, which is a private server I play on, which constantly has anywhere between like probably 200 to 1,000 players on at any time, which by like mainstream standards is not a lot, but for like a private social PSO server, like that's
all it takes to have a healthy server.
Yeah, it's a pretty healthy server.
Yeah.
Always find a group, they run events and stuff, and they're like, yeah, we could talk to you about the back end and tell you exactly how everything ticks and kind of reverse engineer this bad boy. And yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've been checking out. What is the chat? What is this Rainbow Six Siege X trailer? What is this? Just came out. I guess Rainbow Six is having a tournament or something this weekend. What is this? Is this just another update to Rainbow Six Siege? Oh, it's a
major
new
evolution.
era.
Yeah.
According to the
More than an
presentation,
New evolution.
yeah, it's not Rainbow Six Siege 2, but new ways to play the game. Get ready for the biggest transformation in the game's history, which introduces new ways to play, deepen tactical gameplay, and major upgrades. Okay.
I never got into Siege.
People that love Siege really love Siege.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
they're obsessed
Like
with it.
their
It's like
thing,
their
yeah.
game.
It's
Love
got
it.
a die-hard fan base. So
Same with Division 2. There are still people that are obsessed with Division 2 and play that like religiously all the time.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which it kind of blows my mind, and that, like, I guess they're still putting out like DLCs. Like, there's a DLC coming out for Division 2.
really,
Still going.
Yeah.
huh?
Yep. I'm worried for 3 with all the Ubisoft stuff. I think there's a lot riding on this year for Ubisoft.
Yeah,
I would really love to see certain parts of Division 1 make it into a Division 3, but here's hoping. I think that's a common thread with a lot of different potential sequels and titles coming out.
yep. Yeah, we'll see what happens in March with Shadows for Ubisoft. Not necessarily a make or break moment, I think, for them, because Ubisoft is so fucking big. I don't think.
Yeah.
If anything, it's a make or sell, not break moment for Ubisoft. But
Assassin's Creed always sells. I mean, well, you have to consider how the landscape and narratives have changed so much over the last few years.
Yeah,
for reasons.
Yep.
It'll be interesting. Like, even if it's a terrific game, how will it fare?
Yeah. I'm
Hopefully
gonna check it out. I want to see what it's all about. But obviously, the internet is the internet, and there's a lot of conversation around that game. And Ubisoft's not making it any better, I would say, in the grand scheme of things.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes next month. It's also going to be kind of on the tail end of Monster Hunter. Not too much.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's not too much shared player base there, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I wouldn't want to be near Monster Hunter or GTA this year. That would be pretty much it.
Yeah, GTA especially. I mean, I think Monster Hunter will be big, but GTA is like there's not even a comparison in other media.
Like a black hole that just pops up and just sucks everything else away.
It's
like a big game.
Yeah, not really any comparisons in media to the size of that. So we'll see what happens release-wise with that. I think that's it. I think anything else you guys want to bring up? Like I said, news was slow. People are just gaming right now. It's a good time to just game.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
We're right on the cusp of when things really start to get exciting.
Yeah.
We got the Nintendo stuff coming up. That's April.
Is that April or it's April, right? Not March?
It's April. Okay. Yeah. Did either of you order an analog 3D?
I have an analog. I don't know if it's a 3D. Is that the new
Nintendo
one?
64 coming out?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, pre-orders were like in October, I think, and it ships in March.
Huh.
So it's a FPGA Nintendo 64. So I'm pretty excited for that. I love N64, man. So that whole era speaks to me. Yep.
It's basically just a little mini 64 that plays the cards.
I like that.
I would assume it has like what, HDMI out? Yeah.
It's 4K rendered.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll still be original frame rates, but I mean the other analog consoles are fantastic. So we'll see. I hope it turns out good.
Yeah.
A lot of N64 games are notoriously very difficult to emulate, and that's why there's so many recompilation projects.
Yeah.
But those take forever to decompile and recompile a whole game. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I've got I have one of their handhelds. I guess it might just be
the analog
analog
Pocket. Yeah, Pocket's
analog
great.
Pocket.
I love my Pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play whenever I go on a flight, you play whatever you want because you got so many access to so many different carts there. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, there is that PO. I'm not going to check out the PoE 1 league. It's kind of like a half league. I don't know, Dan, if you're checking that out at all on the 20th this coming week, but
I'm too busy other stuff right now. I'm just like, I'm gonna skip it.
I'll probably wait for the next 2 league. I really enjoyed the launch of 2.
Yeah, it was great.
I think a lot of us did.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Yeah.
How did you feel about how the game felt once you got to end game though? Because I feel like it kind of lost that slower pace and kind of went back to borderline what it was.
Yeah,
I felt like it like, stopped doing what it was doing in the first like part of the campaign, where it was trying to be a slow game that was tactical and methodical, and
really
it started
enjoyed that
towards the fast again, and I was like, a little disappointing. But I get they want to like appeal to the PO1 people.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure like what their plan is. Like, do they want that, or is that their goal? Do they want it to be like that, or do they want it to be like the beginning and they just didn't balance it well, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think exactly what you just said is the summation of PoE 2.
Yeah,
it's like, what do they want to do with it?
For me, like I'm looking forward to this year's updates for No Rest for the Wicked, because I think that'll be that slower, more methodical ARPG. They're adding co-op this year, so I think that's big.
Yeah.
More PvP stuff. But that's been an interesting one. I liked it at launch, but I really think it would have shined with co-op. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Another we'll see.
It's self-promotion, but there's an ARPG that's coming out this week that you guys might be doing sponsored stream for as well. Is it Dragonkin? Is that the name of it? I should probably know the game that I'm doing. Yeah, I should probably know the name of the game that I'm.
Oh man,
yeah, Dragonkin. Yeah, on the 20th. We'll be.
No, I don't think I got that one.
That out.
Dragonkin.
Be another ARPG.
Who's that through? Or who's that from? What is the company that makes that one?
It is from
Nacon?
Nacon. It's a Nacon game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll look good. We'll see how it plays. This is the announcement.
Dragonkin the Banished.
Yeah. That's later this week. For a lot of us. And then, like I said, I'm just holding time over till Wilds. Playing the beta of that.
Yep. That's holding pattern.
Yeah. I think everyone's in a holding pattern for that. So we can do some shout outs, and we got 10 minutes left. Sure. I'm okay wrapping up 10 minutes early. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, that sounds good.
2 weeks till Wilds. 11 days. We're almost in single digits. Almost there. Can we talk about
a little bit.
Wait, did either of you play Exoborn? I did not do an Exoborn sponsor.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so we don't have anything to add to that chat.
I played the other one that came out, the Steel and Sorcery, whatever it was. It's like a third-person extraction fantasy game. That had previous WoW devs on it.
Yeah.
Visuals are fun. Combat was fine. Servers were a mess. I think it has potential, but they're gonna have to really hit the ground running if they get Legacy Steel and Sorcery.
Okay.
But no, I didn't play Exoborn.
Got it. What about the No Man's Sky New Expedition? Did you check that out yet?
I've not jumped in it yet because we've been busy with when that come out? Wednesday? I forget everything I was doing, but I didn't have time to jump into that.
There's no drops or anything.
I know Sequisha's been playing a lot of Exoborn though. What was that? Sorry?
There's no drops or anything with the New Expedition for No Man's Sky, right? It's just
No, drops are over. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I jumped into No Man's Sky whenever the last drops were. And I get it. I understand that game now.
Yeah.
I like that game a lot.
It's a fun one, man.
I'm going to play it whenever those drops come back.
I'm going to need information on Light No Fire like yesterday because I think that one's going to bang.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are looking toward.
It'd be nice to give them money again, too. Like, I haven't been able to give them money.
Yeah, that's true.
Sean has paid his dues. It's time.
Yeah, he needs to forgive him. Forgive yourself, Sean. You are forgiven by the community. You're good. Let people pay you. Let's do some shout outs. Feel free to promote whatever you got coming up. Then we'll wrap up the show as a whole. Goth, start us off. What do you got going on?
Monster in the Wilds, like everybody's gonna say. This week, probably gonna get as far in Avowed as I can. Maybe jump into some. I think we're doing PSO game night on Monday night on the stream. We do a community night once a week now. Outside of that, it's just a holding pattern, man. I'll have to let you guys for next time, but I am moving a lot of my socials over to Blue Sky.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And yeah, just for like personal stuff and creative stuff, business stuff is still over on Twitter, but personal stuff is over on Blue Sky. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Nothing interesting until Monster Hunter. I think we're all just chilling and waiting and hoping and just ready to kill some monsters, dude.
Hell yeah. Hell to the Dan, what do you got going on? Do some shoutouts.
Hi, I'm DansGaming.
Carnage for some reason. I'm so sorry.
Oh, wow. I'm DansGaming.
Congrats.
Playing through Avowed and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, swapping between both games. Speaking of Co, though, I have joined Co's game Emberville, and I'll be showing off Emberville on the 28th on my channel. I'll be doing a gameplay demo, show the updates since Co's last demo of it, and show it off to you guys. If you guys want to check it out, we're gonna make that game awesome. And then I'll be playing Monster Hunter when it releases, and that's all I got going on. Thanks for having me on the show again.
So you can exclusively reveal that it's a real game, Dan.
It is a real game, and I have actually played it, and it has gameplay.
Okay. Why do you have a sword in front of you, Dan? What's happening here?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Okay.
I don't see anything.
All right. Hey, that's it. Thanks for watching.
Cool.
Huge shout out to Carrie for coming by talking about Avowed. Sorry we had to cut you off from talking about Avowed. Your handlers wanted you to be gone. That's not on me. You're welcome back on the show anytime. And thanks for watching. We'll put the VOD up over at youtube.com/itmeJP probably in about 30 or 40 minutes from now. Appreciate both of you for joining us for this special episode. Co and Zeke should be back next week. We'll let you guys know who the guest is going to be when I know who the guest is going to be. For now, though, we're out. Have a good rest of your weekend and a great start to your week. We're out of here. Bye-bye.